What do it do when it do what it do? I am the digital pit boss, and you are rocking with the CRTs. Welcome to the building, baby, baby. The Christian Bully. That's me. The calculated risk taker. That's me. The overachiever. That's me. That's who I be. What it do, what it do, what it do, when it do what it do. Make it do what it do, baby, baby. And y'all know how I do. 1, 2, 1, 2. So in today's episode of the Calculated Risk Taker, we're going to introduce you to the good life. Now, you know, in the last recent series, what's up to the great Negroologists? Let's play some great Negroologists. I got some classics by the great Negroologists, only found right here on the DPB. What you know when you know what you know. Let's get our agreements cracking. Y'all know how we do it, right? Let me see if I can find my picture. I probably can't find my picture, but if I find my picture right quick, it's over for y'all. But anyway, we'll throw the calculated risk taker. Anybody want this logo? Y'all just hit something in the chat room, you know, give me an email or something, and I'll send you the logo. This is for CRT. It's a free logo. Y'all can do what you want with the logo. Drop it where you want the logo to go. Just let me know when you know. Yeah, we got a good show. I'm gonna show y'all something you never seen before. So hold tight.
The freedom we look for is the freedom to be ours.
Uh-oh. I gotta get the
freedom we look for is the freedom to be ourselves without laws and regret. If you look at your life, most of what you do is just to please others.
Uh-oh. My bad. It's coming. I got too much crap on the screen, you know what I mean? If you know what I mean.
Most of what you do is just for now.
Let's start it over.
The freedom.
Damn it. Oh, shit.
The freedom we look for is the freedom to be ourselves without laws and regret. If you look at your life, most of what you do is just to please others. Most of what you do is just for acknowledgement and attention. Somehow this is what freedom has become. But we are not free. We feel freedom. We see freedom. We live in freedom. Our freedom is as close as the air that we breathe, yet we seem to never catch our breath. Be impeccable with your word. Always say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't take anything personally. Anything that someone may do to you is only a projection of themselves. Don't make assumptions. Always have the courage to ask for clarity. Always do your best under any and every circumstance. Always do your best.
That was the great Negroologist dropping in on you, just another level of the CRT baby, calculating every move. Make a move on the chessboard. Make your next move your best move if you want to be in the game. Because if you're not in the game, you might start offering all types of shit that just don't fan up. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all understand what I'm saying. So, as you know, Pit Boss spoke of a little incident earlier this week in the conscious community. And some people was like, yo, Pit, why you smashing, man? You and your Christian bully program. I was like, well, you know, I'm just trying to help out, trying to show where things aren't correct. And so I dropped my little narrative. But, after a couple of days of going back and forth, we seem to be able to hash it out and show the brothers a better way and a better understanding on how it goes when it goes. And so they thought that, maybe Pit Boss over there fronting and faking, they think I got a business model that won't make it bounce, won't make it do what it do when it do what it do, baby. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, in the conscious community, they taught me to show and improve. You know what I mean? Show us what you mean when you say what you say and you do what you do. Baby. Understand? So I'm about, I'll say, 24 hours from really having all the bugs worked out in my system. So before I really get this whole show off and piznapping, panties dropping, let me take you over here and let you understand what's really going on, right? So as you see, when you click on the page, this is the dpbstudio.com. Get ready. We about to take it to the next level. It's going to cost you 20 of them dollars, a $20 holler to come on over here and join up, right? And for that, here's what you get. Let's be clear about what you get. For your $20 a month, your membership includes up to 20 downloads your first month. We got a special library for those of you who join. You're going to go back into a section that we call the studio. And it's somewhat similar to, but not quite as the same as like a Facebook page. But it has a library full of books. Some of the books are for sale for those who choose not to join but would like the information. Boom, the books are there for you. But for those who join, 20 of those books will be absolutely for free as an encouragement to further yourself. So you can just click off this box, right? I'm going to jump off that box. And here's the studio. And the purpose of what we're doing is to optimize your purpose for the value of your time, right? So now, as you see, there's a few books on here. A couple of little things we're getting into. Conquering Creative Thinking. How to increase profits on the back end. See, a book like that immediately pays you back. Online customer engagement. Social media marketing principles. Building the best business team. A lot of people are trying to figure out how to build 5,000 elite. Well, that book right there might assist you to do what you do. Building your organization on autopilot. Damn, you ain't got to do nothing but click the button, let it build. Business plans, creating an online business plan. A lot of people need a business plan. God damn ham. Now, if you just go over here to the bookstore button, click that, voila, you have a whole another category of books. Now, in this section, it's called recommended books, right? When you go to the recommended books, I only got a few up so far because, I swear I'm working all damn day on this site. And if you've been following the DPB, you heard me speak of the David Walker Appeal. You heard me speak of the crisis of the Negro intellect. You heard me speak of double speak. Man, that book alone is worth the time and energy. So let's say you want that double speak book, right? How much that book costs? Well, the new double speak, you can buy it on Amazon. This is just a recommended reading. So you click that book, buy yow, baby, you on Amazon. $6.44. Have at it. You feel me? But let's go back. Let's go back to the days when everybody was black. So as you see over here, we got the creative bit, recommended readers, social media, startup opportunity. Do I got something in that section yet? Because I'm making sections and I haven't stuck all my books in every section. And here we go. So you got startup information, marketing businesses, exchanging know-how for money, right? Scrapbooking, public speaking, superstars, get your game up, get your paper weight up. Now, this is just the front end of the website. If you want to get on the inside, where we're really digging in at, you're going to have to join the Calculated Risk Taker Digital Society, baby. Benefits of joining our society enables advancement in knowledge of business, social, and personal growth. Access to a cooperative economic community. Let me repeat that. Access to a cooperative economic community to build a stronger social network with like-minded people. And you know what we do, baby. This is what the good life begins. This is where the good life begins. This is how we getting it. So when all you're getting it, make sure that the getting is good. Understood, baby. Now, some of y'all might appreciate. Doug 757 says, Pit Boss, are you the author or is it a group of authors? Well, Doug, you'll have to just go on over there and download the book and read upon that, right? But I'll answer the question, is groups of authors. Matter of fact, Doug, should you get in the 30-day book writing course that we'll have inside the society, will help you and encourage you to author your first book. And when you author that book, Doug, I'm going to put that book in the site for you. I'm going to market that book for you, Doug. I'm going to show you a campaign, Doug, on how to sell your book without autopilot. Just kick back, let Pit Boss do the work for you. I got to give you some services for your $20 to make sure you're still there the following month. You dig? This is something that is not in the conscious community. Trust and believe. Sonetta don't offer it. Goddamn Young Pharaoh ain't got a copy. Sarah Sutin said he been talking for 8 years and he ain't got a pamphlet to offer. The Almond Ra Squad then offered you plenty books, not a damn one on how to make a dollar holla. They want to tell you the history of a skull. The Metu Neter is deciphered. All that type shit. None of the real shit. None of the real shit. What you really want to know is how to make your money grow, how to empower yourself mentally, how to take control of your environment. Now, have you ever been to the mountaintop? Y'all ain't never been to the mountaintop. Y'all better stop. I'm about to take you to the mountaintop. How many of y'all want to go to the mountaintop? Y'all don't want to go to the mountaintop. Pit Boss gonna switch gears when I drop this goddamn site, y'all. Telling you, if you haven't subscribed to the digital pay book, look at Third Eye Live TV Radio. What up, homie from Wyoming? Y'all go over there and subscribe to the Third Eye if you want to get some of that fire and energy. Y'all go subscribe to Third Eye Live TV Radio. See, Third Eye, he had the privilege of sitting down with Pit Boss in Studio Park. Third Eye, you might want to hit the link and tell them about Studio Park. I think I spent about $30,000, $40,000 5 years ago on that. Anybody want to flash some money on the screen? You know what I mean? I might go back and get some videos and show you. Baby. So let's take you to the mountaintop because y'all not ready until y'all see the game from the mountaintop. You know, if you got a little bit of change, little under $1 million to get you on the mountaintop. Just hang on in there. You're gonna get greater later. So in the process of coming hardcore and even more to the conscious community and giving them everything I got in store, the site ain't even 25% built. It's just the introductory level, just to whet your appetite. I promise you, everybody won't come over from the conscious community. Someone's video, I said that Pit Boss got an idea that just won't work, that they won't support it. Stop it, boy. This is the 18th. Uh-oh. Look at it.
How's
Hold on,
doing out there?
It's
How's
my man.
doing?
It's my man. What's up with you, Black Geek? What you think?
Man, on these beautiful California days full of sunshine, no rain, I don't like to sit in the box. I like to get out and feel the forces of nature. Welcome to my backyard. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna turn it around and show you in a second the view from the hilltop to let people know you can get what you got if you're willing to do what you never not.
Be back on them rhymes.
Hit the lick and leave the block. So let me just turn the camera around and give everybody a view while I narrate the story. Okay, let's see here. This is what I look at when I get up every day.
Oh, snap. What is that out there?
That's a view to the backside of the Hollywood Hills.
All right. Now we talking. Hollywood in walking distance.
Something like that. You know, if let's say, for example, it would be like 10 Tiger Woods golf courses from here to Hollywood. So I'm in the proximity, I'm in the vicinity, I'm in the area. But you understand, LA is a big place. And there's lots of pockets of nature where you can hear the birds chirping. The squirrels might come down and visit you and say, hey, what's up? Can I get a nut? You know what I'm saying? There's little creeks and rivers around here, but that's for a later date. I just want to show you a little bit of inspiration. I'm not the kind of cat that's going to flash a bunch of racks and stacks on the screen sitting in a little box. I'll bring you out and show you what the stacks can get you if you properly invest and come with a proper business plan and presentation.
Now that's what I'm talking about. So what it costs to get, how much I need to get up on the hill?
Well, brother, on a good one, you might have to drop down about 900,000 stack. And that's on the low end theory, like Tribe Called Quest. But up here where I'm at, for example, here, let me show you a little bit next door, the neighbor next door. See that house right there?
Wait, your camera just went out. Okay, there we go. There we go. You back. You back in black. You black.
Wait. Can you see me?
We can see you.
Hold on.
Black. You black.
Okay. You see that house?
I see you.
That's about a $2 million ticket house right there.
Hold on a minute. You went out of goddamn again.
Oh shit. Hold on, player.
No finger hitting the yellow button.
Okay. Are we live?
We live.
That house right there costs about $2 million.
Now that's a cabin in the hills.
Yeah, that's the neighbor next door. So back to the view. We're looking west towards the west coast of Los Angeles. Beyond those hills, past the helicopter, beyond those clouds, you got the Pacific Ocean and Malibu, things of that nature. But
I think I see a rainbow as well. Is that a rainbow or just a little something in the glass?
I guess it's something in the glass.
Okay. Keep on talking.
But basically, I want to keep it positive today and let the people know I'm an older cat. I could tell the story of how I got here and I can use pictures and actual magazines that I wrote. One of the cats asked if it was a group of authors. Well, I happen to be a author, a publishing editor of my own magazine. That coming across you, Pit Boss, you're helping me to take the images that I took and put it in a digital monetized form. So when I tell people I fucks with Pit Boss because he knows how to put money in a nigga's pocket, I'm not making this up.
I ain't mad at you, Playboy.
So give me a second here, and I'm gonna do a little quick presentation for you. And I'm gonna keep it 100% positive as a teaching lesson. One of our fellow cats on the internet, I ain't gonna say no names, but he always likes to say, define your terms, and let's make this a teaching moment. So I'm gonna do just that.
I'm kind of ecstatic by the view, brother. It looks like some good wind coming in.
Okay, so every story has a beginning, and every story has an end. So I'm gonna tell you the beginning and the end, real quick, with images. The very beginning of my career, I worked for a small newspaper owned by the Rasta community in South Central LA, and this is the magazine. Can you see that?
I can see it.
Okay, it's called The King's Chamber. I started out as a writer, and at one point I wrote so much they put me on the cover. That's me, back in the day. I would say that's like 1991, 92, somewhere in there.
The Lion King.
Okay, they gave me the cover, and then they gave me the back cover. That's my son Mosiah when he was a young cub. And it was called the First Church of Rasta. That was the organization. All right, Christian based. Now, that's where it began. One day, the editor of this magazine took a story I wrote, chopped up what I wrote, fucked it up, put a picture of NWA on top of it. It had to do with reggae. And so I walked away from that magazine. And I started this magazine in 1992, the premiere issue, No Sellout. Can you see that?
Yeah. The tip hip hop. I couldn't read that bottom line. I was trying to read that bottom line.
The tip top hip hop ragamuffin black rock mag rag. So we covered hip hop, ragamuffin reggae, black rock, and everything else that came in between. And that's No Sellout. All right. Now let me fast forward all the way to the end to about 2005. All right. In 2005, I got to go to China for the second time. All right. And when I went there, I'm showing this magazine because when I went there, they did an article on me and my magazine from over here. And this is what it said. This is what they did. See that right there?
I see you. Hip hop chronic.
All right. And the title says make 15 cents to $1. I was like, it should be called try to make $1 out of 15 cents. But that's how they translated it.
Yeah.
And the whole article is in some Chinese characters that I couldn't even read. Now, before we go any further, are there any questions from the audience? Because what I'm here to do is motivate and congratulate, not player hate. I'm here to participate. So on the positive tip, anybody got any questions that they want to know in regards to that magazine or profession or where I'm at or whatever?
It looks like they paying close attention. I haven't seen any questions pop up, but you can continue, brother man, and I'll read them off if somebody drops something. Wait, can you summarize what it is and how it actually works? Now, she wrote that a little while ago. Big ups to Surfing Tangent too. My sometimes homegirl. No, it's all good.
Okay, Surfing Tangent, I'm glad you asked that because you have very good questions. I've seen you in other chats, and I appreciate asking the hard question because a lot of times people get all bent out of shape when you ask them something that they should know. Okay, so how did it work was the question. Repeat the question again. Please
She said, "Can you
summarize.
sum it up? Can you summarize what it is and how it actually works?" But she could be talking about something I said a little earlier because the question is a little older. But nevertheless, we can apply it to what you're talking about. So,
Okay,
in general,
I'll answer that.
okay, go ahead, brother.
What it was my own publication. Now that's 1992, Sister Soldier. You got to be a little bit older to know who she is from the Public Enemy camp, but she was bringing that fire back in the day. Then you got Miles Davis right there, the legend in jazz. His last album was a hip hop album produced by Easy Mo B, the cat that eventually ended up producing Biggie Smalls. So see, we got history here. How it worked was I presented a different point of view, and I knew if I could capture an audience, I could get advertisement dollars. So it was an advertisement-based revenue stream. But that base was dependent upon the demographic that I was targeting and how heavy I could blanket them throughout the United States. So now we're going to move on.
I've heard some people describe that as the buzz feed.
Well, you got to remember, I'm telling you how this worked, past tense, because this is a print media format, which in today's world is kind of obscure. Everything now is digitized. So again, Pit Boss is helping me to take the digital recorded interviews and coverage that I have over the years that I have not released and put it out there in a way that can be monetized and recapture the same demographic, but even more broader now, because hip hop can appeal to people that are 50 years old like myself, the Dr. Dre generation, all the way down to an 8, 7, 6, 5-year-old. So that's a pretty wide swatch of people to capture. But back to the story at hand.
I like it.
I was doing in 92, I was trying to sell it, right? For $250. And what I found out was a lot of paper was getting wasted. So you got Redman right there. Mm-hmm. Willie D from the Ghetto Boys. Willie D got his own live chat. I see him sometimes out there. You understand? But this is history. This is 1992 September. So this is like a periodical document of history at the time, capsule slice. You dig what I'm saying? So the last No Sellout was in October of 92. The people I was working with wanted me to interview Bill Clinton for the next cover, and I refused. Why? I didn't want to sell out. So they shut me down. So about a year or so later, you know, I stayed in the game, but I did video type of stuff. And the people at the record company said, why don't you bring your magazine back? We'll advertise. So I brought it back. And this is kind of what it looked like when I brought the Chronic out, all right? So this is 1994. We got Paris from the Bay, but oh, Craig Mack and B.I.G., the notorious one. You understand what I'm saying? He's in this magazine. He ended up becoming a personal friend of mine, but that's a whole nother story for another time. Sticking with the magazine, on the 2nd year anniversary, I was able to hit the 4 corners of hip hop: Los Angeles, the Bay, New York, Atlanta. I got the Goody Mob there, the Genius, the Far Side, E40 in the Click, and Eric Sermon. Now this issue right here, let's see how many pages we got going on. Let's see. Page 106. You dig? So I am publishing and editing this whole thing, trying to cover coast to coast hip hop. And it was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, and I smoked a blunt and said, fuck it, I could do a better Chronic magazine. I'm gonna keep going now, just to show the relevance of, some people say, that's old shit, that's history, it's irrelevant. Okay, so we're just dealing with 25 years time period from 92 to now. And let's check the relevancy of my covers of the artists that might still be in the game today. Starting with Wu-Tang Clan. This issue, I have interviewed every single one of the Wu-Tang Clan personally including ODB. And I give you a timeline at one of their video shoots of how the whole day goes and how I was able to capture all 10 of them brothers in one day. All right. We're going to keep it moving. Now, there's a show out called Jimmy Fallon Late Night. He took over David Letterman, Johnny Carson, Jay Leno, whatever. And his house band is called The Roots. Well, this is The Roots back in 1998. Issue number 18 of the Chronic magazine. Can you dig it?
That's damn near 20 years.
We're going to keep it moving. Issue number 27. Who that right there with the fist up?
That looked like Common.
That's all the ladies' favorite new actor. This is when he was still fucking with alcoholism and Afrocentricity. And by the way, you can get all these interviews online if you go to kronick.com and hit them links. It's all there for you to see. All right? Relevancy, right? Who that there? Who that there? That would be Eminem. The guy that changed hip hop and made it hard for niggas to eat. But see, what people don't understand about Eminem is Dr. Dre was the guy that made it happen. And where's Dr. Dre now? He's sitting at Apple with a bill ticket somewhere on the other side of those hills over there, tucked away.
In base camp.
Who's that there? That's Scarface, right?
What
Look
up,
into his
Dr.
eyes.
Dre? Holla at your boy.
Look into your eye. Look into his eyes. That's Scarface from the Ghetto Boys.
All right.
Got the brother that took me on tour not once but twice, and it was super nice.
Snoop Dogg.
We're talking Up in Smoke tour right there, backstage, looking like the Project hallways.
Blocked out always.
For my East Coasters, we got CNN, Capone, and Noriega. What,
y'all? It's not a secret no more.
For all the hipsters, we got the Black Eyed Peas.
Not the Black Eye.
Y'all don't know what it do. Hold on, be strong. We got your boy, Nelly.
Oh, you just covered the hip hop syndicate right there.
We're not done. You want to stunt? We pulling up. We pulling up.
Not the Birdman.
Hey, the conscious community gonna have to stop playing with my name. Y'all put some spec on my name.
Oh shit.
Once again, I told you not once but twice. We took it to the church. We got MC Ren in this one. We got the Doggy Style All-Stars on tour with MTV. We got Bishop Don Magic Juan. We got Ice Cube.
Oh yeah. Y'all get ready for the Digital Chronic magazine. It's coming.
Okay. And just a couple more throwbacks. That's Little C's. See, I told y'all Biggie and I became friends. We were all at that party that night when Biggie got lit up and took out of here. I almost got in the car with them brothers. I'm glad I didn't. But we had to talk about it with Lil C's years later. So that's just a little bit of what I did over the course of my career. The kind of shit that I had to perfect and keep working on and improving just to get me here.
Now you're sitting on the hill.
Sitting on the hill in semi-retirement, ready to come back and teach all these young folks how to really put it down. And with your help, Digital Pit Boss, we can take it to the level in technology where it needs to be. For not just you, not just me, but for everybody. So it's not like we're flashing stacks and telling people to go over to a website that's not built yet. We're actually sitting back and lining up our ducks in a row so that when we do show, we can prove and let you know, go there now. It's not going to keep changing. It's going to be consistent. It's not going to be unorganized. It's going to be diligent. And it should be self-explanatory. Now, all the back and forth on the YouTubes is cool, the entertainment is cool, but I deal with edutainment. I happen to be the guy that came up with that title for KRS-One and Boogie Down Productions back in the day. Edutainment means education plus entertainment. This is the way we digitally teach people now.
It's going down, y'all. So see, if you can understand what he's saying, here's how the play works. When we launch this site, we're teaching digital marketing, how to become a top blogger. You might be interested in the hip hop community. We redropping the Chronic magazine digitally. He showed you the print version, and he already been through the industry. As you see, there's no one who was in it that's not in that magazine if they was on and popping at that time. So what we're gonna do is we starting the process slow. These things take time. That's why you see other people trying to drop websites and they shit not together, because they trying to do it overnight. Whereas with Pit Boss, we started back in January and we started coding. We started building slowly with no money, as far as being supported by the community, but nevertheless pushing, calculating the risk. We slowly started advancing. Now you see DPB Studio hit the scene. We told you we giving you the playbook. So as you join the community and you get in, the opportunities are within the community. It'll depend on you what you do. I can give it to you, but what you gonna do with it, right? So that's what's coming out of our camp. As you see, I'm not on here playing. I can put that link out there, and if I got a CRT that has dealt with me in any kind of way, they'll let you know. We about that business. We still making soap. We still building websites. We're still building. It's an all-year process. But in December 31st, oh yeah, all those who've been following along and clicking along, and we don't know who's gonna come along and add on. This is what we doing. But we taking our time with it, because you can't build something solid overnight. You can't sit at the top of the hill and overlook Hollywood and think it's a game. If you ever been to Los Angeles, maybe you live in the ghettos of Beverly Hills or something, riding around in the Bentley, pull on up to the mountaintop and show us what you got. Because I'm from Los Angeles and I know how hard it takes to get to the mountaintop. God damn it, they out there taking penitentiary chances just to make it do what it do. That's a hard city to conquer. So if you're out there doing anything and you're able to maintain, you have damn sure beat the odds. That's what it's about, calculating your risk to beat these odds. It's not a game what we doing over here. I do not need 10,000 views to attract Black Ink. All I got to do is say something that'll make you think, and a nigga will drop a dime in your mailbox and let you know, holla at your boy. So now I'm taking you on a little small tour of the world through individuals. I brought y'all Whack 100. He showed you the same shit. I ain't got all my friends on the line yet. We barely coming in. But I appreciate Black Ink for giving us a little insight. As y'all see, he done came over here and did all type of talking, and he ain't never revealed how come he's sitting on the top. So if y'all think that the conscious community and the channels that are out there are really dropping the heat, then I appreciate what they do for you. And I know a lot of y'all think, oh, Pit Boss is a bully, this and that, right? But what we really doing is we just being a certain way to get rid of the weed and just bring in the goddamn plants that show good light, that grow under good light. That's what we doing. So think that we just selling soap, you done missed the boat. What's up? Yes, sir.
I'm gonna take you to the garden, so keep on talking, and then when I pop back on, I'm gonna show the progress of the vegetable bin that I got that's gonna feed myself and those around me.
Now I got Surfing Tangent. She tell us that London is a hard city to conquer. Yes, we know, Surfing Tangent, that London is just a mirror image of America. We all live in the same way around the planet. And anytime you're around where white folks is dominating, God damn it, it's gonna be hard for a Black man. So that's why I'm not over here pushing multiculturalism, because by default, we live in a multiculturalist society. But if we think that they're going to give us the opportunity that they have, you're out your mind. And every time you create something and you offer it to the world to just dominate, you're not going to end up with any real estate. You have to bury yourself into your ideas and drive hard until you make what you do successful. And by default, they're going to join on in. But they're going to have to join on in under a program that you've already established. So y'all seen the STEM bus. If you went back to look at a couple of videos, we brought you the STEM bus. We're giving you the business protocols. I'm not on here just talking lightweight. I know y'all think it's lightweight. Y'all gonna make Digital Pit Boss go back and pull out the paperwork on the restaurant to show you when I used to own a restaurant, went through the same scenario back then. Opened my restaurant in 1999, had 10, 15 employees under the payroll. Pit Boss, 27 years old at the time. Don't make me stunt, because I'll teach you how to stunt. Y'all know what it is, man. We just trying to give you some inspiration. This is not to come on here and floss on you. This is to show the newcomers to YouTube land that you can come on here and give commentary all day, or you could come on here and do a presentation of how to build the nation and show us what you got, that we might want to support it, that we might want to go over there and hit your donate button and give you something, because what you're presenting seems like something we want to build. And that's what it's about. And so I understand Surfing Tangent. This is not about being race politics. It's not about that. It's about looking at reality and saying somebody's on the bottom. So what we gonna do for those on the bottom? Because proper instruction says help the poor. It don't say go feed the rich. It says help the poor. So who's the poor in the society in which I live and other places around the world? Lil T on here bullshitting. Lil T, you know you're gonna get banned for that bullshit. Let me block you now for playing games in my shit. You should have never crossed that goddamn line, Lil T. Now you got to sit on the background and spectate. And ain't no more of that bullshit. I ain't playing that shit. Lil T, you had an opportunity that you could have built, but you just broke down. You're still going through little young, being young, doing dumb shit. And so we're going to put you on restriction. You're not banned out the community. You're on restriction. Only way to get off is to build something and jump off. Make it jump off and do what it do.
Yo.
That's real loud. Yes, sir. You back in the garden? Young
No.
Garvey?
I had to take some stuff down to the garden and then walk back up here. So now I'm going to walk you guys down the little trail in my backyard to the garden, just to show this is a nice little piece of property over here that I'm at. So it's got about 5 houses on it. It's a little community tucked in the side of a hill. And I'll just show you a little bit of the scenery. But I got to be careful because, as you can see, there's no cut path, straight wilderness. So let's go this way. See, I'm serious when I say I don't like to be caught up in a box. Uh-oh. I might have to go another route.
Holy moly.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Is that one of them goddamn California bushes?
Do the cactus, my brother. Okay,
Oh.
Let's go this way. Let's go this way. All right. We'll cut through here. Oh boy.
Oh, you making sure you wasn't up in the San Andreas fronting like that was your property, huh?
No, this is my backyard, and I'm gonna show you the garden.
Oh,
show you the garden then. Okay, here we go. A little sideshow. My neighbor's over there watching me, but I ain't gonna put the camera on him. You know what I'm saying? Like the people at the other site say, the Europeans are watching. Well, I live around Europeans. and I'm watching them watch me. Okay, over here in the back part of the garden, we got some squash and zucchini. Just started. Went to Home Depot, spent $4 for each one. So that's $20 holler right there. And I'm gonna get all types of food out of that in about 2 months. Like zucchini, like patty pan golden scallop squash. You know what I'm saying? Butternut squash, yellow zucchini. It's not a game. That's what I get for a $20 holler. And over time, it will accrue interest. Okay, so here's the starter kit garden. The other day I put these in, they're about maybe an inch high private eye. You got tomatoes here, you got peppers there, and you got chili pepper, hot peppers up there. So you got bell peppers down here, all different colors. They're gonna come out, yellow, gold, red, purple. You got every type of hot chili pepper because I love to eat chilies. Over here, oh, look at that money growing. A couple weeks ago, we did a show. These were just sprouts. Now they some real good collards. These are called baby collards. I could cut this off, take it in the house, clean it, add some onions, a little vinegar, some salt and pepper, throw it in a little saucepan, and have a meal. We got my tomatoes growing over here. She's got a little orange tomato growing right there. I could pull that off and eat it right now. You understand what I'm saying? It's not a game. It's not a game. Okay, that's enough for now.
Oh man, this springtime gardens are going on. It's gonna be good eating all through the spring and the summer.
Well, that's what's up. You know, you got to be about some type of production and have something to show for it, not just talking about it, but having proof, evidence, examples of what we're talking about. Now, about the soap, I love how the soap has become a topic in the conscious community for ridicule, but no one wants to answer what soap they're using and what chemicals are in that soap. You know what I'm saying? Now they want to sell us some Chinese lipstick made by the Chinese. You don't know what type of lead is in there, FDA, unregulated shit. There's always a new case coming up every day about a Chinese product that got some poison in it. So they really gonna need some soap to wash that shit off their lips. Real spit.
That's real talk, brother.
And the soap was made by a black man, chemical free, with all the natural ingredients posted on the label. I mean,
Oh yeah,
I got high-end clients, like some of my neighbors, that don't mind paying $15 for a bar of that triple butter. I'm already out the bamboo. That bamboo, that black bamboo went so quick.
oh yeah. We just made a new fresh batch of that. And you got another batch coming in a couple of weeks.
Well, as soon as I get some, I'm gonna definitely sell a bar or two to Rachel Ann because, you know, I put her through the ringer, telling her she can't have none. But you know what? I'm gonna show love because that's what we do. We cooperatively work economically. Now, I made that comment about the soap to illustrate the point that we are buying black and we're selling to everybody. We're not buying Chinese and selling black. We're buying black and we're selling to everybody.
That's black power. That's what they do to us, right? We buy everything from everybody and make nothing. That was our current path under integration. Buy from everybody and sell nothing. Consumers instead of producers. That's what integration brought us. Consumerism, multiculturalism, and the loss of economic production. Now we bring it back to you.
And what's fucked up about that is we got sold a dream, went to sleep, and stopped producing. We stopped doing for self. We stopped providing the services that now other people have come in and taken them over. All these STEM-based services. Like when I go to Home Depot, there's like 100 Latino cats rushing my car to do any type of work that I might need around the property. But I never see a black person, ever.
Mm.
My next door neighbors got their house solar retrofitted and painted. The Latino dudes they found at Home Depot had a job for 6 months straight. And I know because I watched them working every single day.
Real talk. So now let me ask you a little question, because I know, we haven't really put out the aspect of what we're doing as far as your digital magazine, right? But in the future, as we start to produce the actual web page where they'll be able to go and be a part of the Chronic magazine, will you allow a few new writers to get the opportunity like you had 20 years ago or more to maybe submit some articles to the magazine?
Yeah, that goes without saying, because I'm glad you brought that up. When I ran the magazine, I was the head. I had black people on the staff, but I also had other people that were not black on the staff. And here's why. Sometimes black people have a tendency to take shit for granted from other black people. But when you have other people there respecting you as the head honcho and putting in that work diligently, like it really means something to them, then it makes us as a people step our game up and be competitive. You understand what I'm saying? So I've always had an open door policy for internships to build the character and to build the skills of other talented writers slash photographers slash videographers, what have you. And I've helped to make a few careers down the road, over time. It was the guy that took all those pictures that are on my covers and designed and laid out my magazine that his family invited me to China in order for them to try to buy in to what we were doing. If people are not aware of that, they can go back to the Black Ink shows on Pit Boss Effect, and get the backstory. But it all ties in. That young man now has a career in the skateboard world doing designs for shoes based off of his work he did with me, doing layouts and taking pictures. Now he travels the world continuously. I've had other writers, women, who went on to become photo essayists for National Geographic. They go around the world taking pictures, telling stories. So I'm not here to tear people down. I'm not here to beat up on little kids and bully them because it's child's play. It's too easy. I'm here to encourage them and try to get them focused in a direction that's going to build themselves. Someone asked a question the other day, what advice would I give to someone that wants to be an entrepreneur but doesn't quite know what it is they want to do? I would say this. My father taught me growing up, if you can find a hobby, something that you enjoy and that you're good at, and figure out a way to make money from it, then you'll really never work a day in your life, because what you're doing is a labor of love. It's your passion. I'm from the school of thought that instead of taking a job, I would rather make a job, not just for myself, but for others. Now I'm creating business. Now I'm doing things the American way. Now I'm trying to be a model citizen as an entrepreneur and a productive business in the society. I just happen to be black.
Okay, now let me drop a little something. Since in the conscious community, a lot of times, they don't believe nothing unless they see something, right? So I'm gonna take y'all back. This is just a quick web search on a older company I once had called Pit Boss Trucking LLC, Limited Liability Company, right? I based it out of Chamblee Dunwoody Road in Atlanta, Georgia. It was a CDL truck driver, right? It says the Pit Boss Trucking is a privately held company in Atlanta, Georgia, and is a single location business categorized under contract truck hauling, And the records show it was established in 2005 and incorporated in Georgia. And the current estimate shows that this company has an annual revenue of $120,000 and employees and a staff of approximately 2. Now, I'm just showing y'all that, not to be stunting, not to be saying I was this, I was that, but that was back in 2005. Before 2005, I brought y'all WAC 100. We talked about the real estate market. I could go further. I could go back before that and talk about the restaurant and so forth and so forth. And then go back even further. And when I was a teenager, and then show y'all what the pit boss was doing then too. So as I develop companies and bring forth the Black Inks, the Black Becky, the techies, the Negroologists. What's up, Negroologists? You know how we getting it. They don't know about the new. I'm developing behind the scenes. I'm not getting 10,000 views and donations to my PayPal like that. But I exclude all that because I'm building businesses under the STEM-based program and ideology. It takes the STEM in order to build and operate a company, and I don't give a shit what kind of education you got. See, somebody came to me and said, well, Pitt, do you got a PhD or a doctorate or this or that? And I said, if I did or if I did not, would it make relevant what I'm saying real or unreal? If I had a PhD and people disagreed with me, what good is the PhD? Only thing that matters is the knowledge that you apply. That's why we created Black, BLAK. Better learning is applied knowledge. If you're not applying it, who give a shit how many degrees you got for it? If I'm a scientist who don't want to get up and work, who give a shit? I could be the dumbest cat on the planet, but I got a little lawnmower service out here beautifying my neighborhood. Who's more important, a scientist that don't want to do shit or an uneducated lawnmower man who's beautifying the neighborhood? It's about what you can apply. Now, how far do I got to go back to say I was establishing businesses over a decade? Over 20 years ago, I was in a business room talking to white folks about my taxes, telling them the last time I had to work for a white man, I can't remember. Would I mind? I wouldn't mind working for you, long as you pay me what I want for what I do. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I'm bringing you these businessmen. I talk to these brothers on the phone for long hours, right? And then we go back and forth and I start to understand who I'm working with. And then I take and apply my knowledge to help build what they're doing and vice versa. So when you see the Chronic magazine touch the page and then you see the way we marketing the business and we done resurrected a print magazine, converted it and brought it into the digital age, you'll know that it went through the hands of the digital pit boss. It's the reason why I put digital on the beginning of my name. I started off as Pit Boss Entertainment, took it to Pit Boss Trucking and moved it on into the digital Pit Boss. This is not just by luck. This is by design. To do what you never done is to receive what you never had. This is real talk in the Black community of the unconscious YouTube syndicate of a bunch of dudes want to tell me about some bullshit. I appreciate y'all for trying and doing what you're doing, but we would get along a lot faster if y'all just quit playing games and let's just do some business on the up and up. If you know a little, do a little. If you know a lot, do a lot. What up, Black Ink?
I just want to be fair to the audience and let them know how exactly we linked up. This late last year, when everything was falling apart with the House of Consciousness and Sarah Sunsteady and Pharaoh didn't show up to the debate and all that debacle fallout, I started noticing on my YouTube feed somebody named Digital Pit Boss going in on these people. So I click on and I listen, and the shit was hilarious. So I started checking more of the videos, and the more I hit the like button, the more videos showed up. So I subscribed. Now in January, he introduced the soap game, and at the very beginning when I was watching him, I would never comment, I would never go into chats, I would just watch the videos and laugh. But when he did the soap game thing, I was like, I see an opportunity for not just me to get some extra change, but to put my nephews on who are in their 20s and still trying to figure out what they want to do in life. And I was like, this would be a good hustle to teach the young. And it would be a good way to get them doing something that's honest, that is going to keep them out of trouble and put money in their pocket. Building a businessman. So he shot me his number, or I hit him with an email. He shot me a number, but there was one number off from the real number. It was, he sent me a bad number. So I kept calling the number and it would just ring, ring, ring. And I'd be like, oh, it would be busy. So I started clowning in the chat. I'm like, dude, you over here talking about you got soap and your number stay busy. What's up? He's like, email me again. So we emailed. I finally talked to the brother. We found out we knew a lot of the same people in LA. So I'm like, cool, he checks out. What's up with the soap? He's like, man, send me $90, whatever. I'm like, are you sure this ain't no motherfucking scam like Polite? We both started laughing. He's like, check this out. I'm going to put a video with the soap on it to show you and everybody else. After that, I was like, fuck it. I'm going to send him $90 and I hope the nigga send me my soap. Well, the nigga sent me my soap and it was what he said it was. And I tested it on some women, starting with my mother. She bought 2 bars, full price, said she wanted to meet the brother when he came to town. You see what I'm saying? You got to test it out in the community and see if it is what it is. Now, if it checks out, you got to roll with that. I rolled the dice. I came 7-11 out the gate. I'm about to roll again. Let me see if I could hit a hard 8. Go ahead, Pitt. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, somebody had asked me why the name Pitbull. So while you were speaking, you know, I showed them the Urban Dictionary. You know, that's the Black Dictionary, where we define our own terms. And pit boss just happens to be a person who is a complete badass or completely runs shit at what they're doing or getting done. And I didn't make this shit up. I just became it. And goddamn it, it is what it is. Holla at your boy. Pit boss.
Well, I want to show one more thing. Okay. You said that the STEM bus people now want to get a STEM motorhome. Is this something of the sort? I know this might be a low budget Volkswagen version, but it is a version in my backyard. My neighbor might want to let the program get it for the low. If she no, well, we're gonna go with it.
Well, see,
but that's another.
Yeah,
that's another.
Go ahead.
That's another example of the resources being right here at our fingertips.
Well, see, that's how the first STEM bus was created. It was just a broken down bus that wasn't being utilized, sitting on the side of the road. So they all, a collective cooperative economic unit, got together and said, we're going to repaint this, let the kids paint it how they want it to look. It started looking like the Scooby-Doo van, but so what? We stuck that STEM inside and went to a junior high school technological school in Stone Mountain and put that shit together. Now the children got their own little unit. They added the STEAM to it because they wanted to bring the arts in. You know that the STEM program is infiltrated by the boule, so you got to let that shit ride. And boom, this shit is born. And now we can go from this one little bitty STEM school in the county, in the area, and then take the idea to preschools, get their mamas understanding STEM. A lot of times when I introduce the concept to people, they say, I never heard of it. What is it? I say, well, it's Booker T. Well, I heard his name before, but wasn't he a sellout? Didn't he want us to do low-level thinking? And I just laugh and say, yeah, that's what the white man said, that he was a sellout and he wanted y'all to do some bullshit and stay in the South. But God damn it, we in the South with the bus, still pushing the Booker T. George Washington Carver Agriculture School of STEM. Now I'm trying to tell the conscious community that y'all been debating history for way too long, that y'all sitting here focused on if the 42 laws of Mayat could give you the defense mechanism to increase your economic position. And I'm saying it might give you 7 principles, but it damn sure ain't gonna educate you on how to develop your community in an economic fashion. The 42 laws of Mayat can't do that for you. But what can do that for you is by educating your children, the next generation, to be competitive in a world that's headed to Mars. Some people say we live on a flat earth with a glass dome just beneath the firmament. And I say, well, the goddamn STEM program done went beyond your glass dome, took pictures of the earth round like a globe. And you can argue all day, but goddamn it, if you don't got no technology in your home, you down.
Well,
you go ahead, brother.
Here's what I want to say, just to keep it simple for the stupid. KISS, KISS FM, is you said you wanted to develop beyond the bus to a motorhome. You put it out there and you gave a clear purpose as to why, so you could travel state to state instead of staying within the city limits, you know, with the proper type of vehicle. Okay, having put that out in the universe, I'm looking right in my backyard and saying, hey, is this the type of thing that you need? Because what people don't understand in the conscious community and in the YouTube playing games like Child's Play is that if you state clearly what you need in terms of resources, you present a clear plan, a simple purpose, and a solid vision, the resources will show up because people will know you're not bullshitting. But when people say they want $20 today, then tomorrow they say they don't want $20, they just want 5,000 people. Then the next day they say, oh, we want $20 just to sign up and $20 a month. Then they turn around and they say, well, if you don't do this within this period of time, we're going to open the floodgates to all these other people in different communities that want to do what we're talking about. And by the way, if you want this lipstick, holler at Ling Ling over here at Chowping. And I'm like, what the fuck? Scratching my head. Like, this shit is out to lunch. It's all over the place. And I'm not going to say no names. I'm not going to go in. I'm just saying, simply put, if you say what you want and what you're going to give people in exchange for whatever they're giving you, they will give it to you. But when you're unclear, you're talking about some invisible stuff that doesn't exist, and then you want to build a factory around an invisible product, you're selling dust in the wind.
Let's see. Okay, so now I happen to notice I'm trying to find something off the dome real quick, right? And this is for the vegan revolution going on, right? And their nature preserve mentality, right? Hold on. Let me turn that off. Okay. So here's what y'all need to know about the STEM and agriculture. And I'm gonna start back, and we're gonna go back to a time of Martin Delaney, right? And since y'all don't really follow Pit Boss for very long, like y'all caught me chopping heads off in the conscious community, and you didn't really realize what I was really doing on my channel before I had to go ahead and slaughter, you know, the Amun Ra of the conscious community and all those alike, right? So what I noticed is that they was trying to represent RBG and being affiliated to some Black Power. They took the Black Power of the 60s concept and merged that shit with the RBG movement of Marcus Garvey, which was a total nonsense of collision of ideologies that were different. One was a black nationalist ideology of building a preliminary government for black folks, and the other Black Power of the 60s with the Black Panthers was a socialist movement to fight against corrupt police in the black community and assist with integrating blacks into society, as they thought that was the right move at the time. We learned that by reading The Crisis of the Negro Intellect by Harold Cruz. This is when Pitbull shit gets so real, I can't be presented on a Sonetta TV or one of these comedic channels. They don't want me to come because the conversation cuts their shit off and they don't want to look that bad. I understand, I'll stay on my channel. But nevertheless, I said, well, now we got to go pre-Garvey, because apparently the conscious community have taught y'all everything about Marcus Garvey except that he was a Christian. They didn't want to mention that too loud, even though they know, but don't say too much, because, you know, Marcus Garvey said race first, right? That was the narrative to fight against the aspect of integration. It wasn't race first for with a period on it. It was race first before this integration movement bullshit. Instead of integrating multiculturalists, let's deal with our race first and uplift our race under this oppression. So since I seen that everybody was talking Garvey, but apparently nobody really read the book and understand that the only thing Garvey was really talking about was Booker T. Washington. So now Booker T. Washington didn't create the idea himself. He realized the idea of men before him, like Martin Delany. So now Martin Delany is a soldier. Well, before being a soldier, he was a student at Harvard going for his doctorate. But then because he was a black man and he was too intelligent, they didn't want him there. So they kicked him out. So he linked up with your boy, the master integrationalist, Frederick Douglass, and they started a newspaper. And they was working on that because they were still, you know, under slave situation. And so all of a sudden, Martin Delany decides he's going to go to Africa, since we're in slavery in America, and he's going to find a place, since white folks in America don't want to let us out of slavery, he's going to find a place for black folks to go. So he went to the Niger Congo. He went all down the Niger River. He went to all over Africa on a journey, looking for a place that he could find that black people could migrate to, because they were under slave conditions and he couldn't fight against the entire white supremacist system that had dominated slavery. So then while out there, he hears that America is about to go to war. Now, nobody assumed that he would come back to that shit. They thought he'd just stay out there. Shit, America fighting. Why would I go there and die and get in the middle of that? He jumps on a boat and he heads back to America and he joins the army. He becomes a sergeant, a lieutenant. He goes up the chamber. And then while there, he realized that black folks had got trained with weapons. They had started to become trained. They had started to become armed. And now that they're armed and trained, he know when they come up out of here, ain't no going back. Ain't no going back. So after the war was over, it was like, they used Martin Delany to go around to every slave plantation in order to uplift the slaves and get them back to work, because they done became lazy. So he would go and travel through South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia. And as he went and he seen that their farms was dilapidated. They wasn't really out there farming like they supposed to. So he would give them encouraging speeches. Some of the people didn't have no money, and so they had to continue to work for the white man. This is after slavery now, the very beginning, right? So then he would tell them that you need to go have an appreciation for building yourself back together again, right? And so as he's speaking to these slave people, explaining to them to get back in them farms, and you tend to them farms with some pride. This was the beginning. At this particular time, Booker T. Washington is in a salt mine. He's just a young boy. He haven't even been introduced to the Bible yet. But as he starts to get the message and he goes off to college, he went only where it was provided for him. The little knowledge that he had, he went there and learned. Happened to be a general in an army that gave him his training in college. It was a white lady that introduced him to the Bible when he was just a young boy. You can read about this in Up From Slavery. I'm not speaking nothing new. So then when he leaves, he could go anywhere with his life. He's been educated. Someone says, look, there's a little school down there in Tuskegee. They need a headman. So he heads there. He arrives to nothing, to a dilapidated place. And in his eyes, all he sees is black folks is down. He not like some people trying to promote multiculturalism for black folks and start pushing integration. Hell no. What he decided was that black people need to understand how to do for self. So he creates a model that he called the STEM. He takes the model from MIT, the current leader in America when it comes to college. If you have an excellent ability to learn and you want to get STEM on its highest level that's being offered, you might want to head towards MIT. But it's not necessary that you go there to do what you do. It's just if you above all the rest, that's right where you want to be. But nevertheless, he takes on the mantle of what men before him like David Walker and Nat Turner and many men before him were already building upon. It's just that for him, it was a different era. But he's seen that black folks were so low down at the bottom that he took his knowledge of God and said, I'll build character into these people and reinstitute an appreciation for self. Because if you don't have an appreciation for yourself, you ain't gonna give a shit about the rest of the world. And then he told them that I'm gonna prepare you to be able to enter a global world efficient, that wherever you go in the planet, you will get there with the tools to succeed. He never meant for you to stay stationary with your game. He meant for you to go global and then go out and teach the world. So this is 1881, he begins. By 1895, he's doing a speech in front of the whole Southern coalition of cotton developers who control the economics. And black folks is down at the bottom. And the very year that he given this speech, he had already been in play with his college for 15 years, a black-owned college, privately owned. Not no charter school, not no public school. Yeah, the goddamn school was funded by the white rich, the Jews and others alike. But when they funded it, they wasn't able to call the shots. And so he taught black people how to build in the STEM. They called it the Tuskegee machine, this shit he was building. It was so fantastic that white folks was amazed. So in 1900, Harvard would have Booker T. Washington come to their college and do a speech. And as he looked and gazed upon the eloquent white men of Harvard, he explained to them that in a mere 20 years, he was able to educate more millionaires than them. And with a depressed look and somewhat of a glee and an amazement of him to do so, he outdone Harvard and Yale combined in producing men of institution building. Those men that he would produce, that ideal would grow to become what we call the Black Wall Street. But see, the conscious community could never make that connection because they were still stuck in Egypt trying to figure out how to levitate. And that's all good. And we're not taking nothing away from what Kemet had offered us. But see, these men, they didn't have the internet. They wasn't able to go and take a snapshot look of Kemet. And when you looked around, all they seen was oppression from another race. And the ability to learn, when his first year at Tuskegee, this is how low they were. That Booker T. Washington had to teach black women to brush their teeth 3 times a day. And so when George Washington Carver, and here's where your vegans come in at, when you vegans do not want to understand Dr. Sebi was a baby, was almost nothing compared to George Washington Carver. Now, he could have went anywhere, the botanist, and he chose to go down and join up with Booker T. Washington because he was trying to build what, give me a moment, Mike. He was trying to build what is considered, this farming exposition here. And he wanted to keep it black. White folks offered him everything. So George Washington Carver took the cotton development, realized that cotton depleted the earth. And so he created the idea of changing out what you plant. So if you're in your garden today thinking you're doing something, learning from whatever book you read, and you haven't realized that George Washington created these methods, it's because you don't know your history. So that you can feel good about yourself, there is no society in the world who has ever developed on written record better than the African American. I hate to say it if you hate to hear it, because it's true. No one can go back in their country in the last 150 years and line up the men that have offered us technology and understanding that we operate and implement today. And if you could only understand what you did from 1865 to 2017, just the things that your group has offered to the world, you might take pride in what you're looking at. And you might say, well, since we brought it to the world, how did we lose it? Well, you want to know how you lost it? It started with a group out of Harlem, New York. And they started to navigate us away from this teaching. And we call it the Roaring Twenties. We call it the NAACP. We call it the Boule. We call it the Niagara Movement. We call it Civil Rights Era. We call it the Brown Board of Education. We start calling that shit communism and socialism. And we start giving that shit all kinds of names until we get to Martin Luther King, the great socialist. And the great socialist Martin Luther King took a look at his favorite guy. His favorite guy wasn't Marcus Garvey. His favorite guy wasn't Booker T. Washington. He might have spoke of those men. But when he started his movement, he didn't take the Marcus Garvey approach. He didn't take the Booker T. Washington approach. He went all the way over to India to look at Gandhi. And then when he looked at Gandhi, he didn't take all of Gandhi's philosophy. He took the nonviolent approach. And that's it. The rest of Gandhi's plan was freedom and independence for India. He didn't want that part because that part didn't play along with those he was playing cards with. But he knew I could take this nonviolent approach, but don't reach all the way for independence. It will cause a ruckus. But when you go study Gandhi, Gandhi looked back at Marcus Garvey, who was going for independence, and said, I'm not going to go take a different perspective to be socialized and ruled by England. I'm going all the way for independence. And the way we going to do it is we ain't going to spend a dime with you. You may beat us, throw us in jail and kill us, but we ain't going to spend a dime with you. We're going to break your back economically. Once the white folks realized this shit was real, they gave them independence. And then India took on the STEM program because he was looking at Garvey. So after looking at Garvey and achieving his goal, he then implemented what it's supposed to do, build a nation. Now India is a strong nation under a STEM program. But see, when we follow Martin Luther King, we stop at nonviolent approach, and we never follow through with the full Gandhi, with the full Marcus Garvey. We hold up the gun and settle for just being nonviolent and marching and shit. I don't want to see no marching. I want covert action and building, if you could understand where I'm coming from. This ain't about being racist. This is about leveling the playing field. This ain't about exclusion. This is about including a group of Black folks who built your future into the society that they have an even chance And we can't have an even chance if you're going to start a 5,000 elite full of multiculturalists who going to shake your black ass as soon as they get ahead of this shit. Because it just makes sense. It makes good business sense to get rid of the broken, depressed, and get with the positive and energetic, which is going to come out of their group. Because our group is wounded. So you got to be patient with our group while it takes time for them to understand that they're getting beat, trying to compete in a multiculturalist way. And so they try to make black power some racist shit because they see those that are out there cheerleading in the streets, marching and shit, screaming and hollering about being oppressed. But that was never supposed to be the model, that you go screaming and crying about your position. You're supposed to just take the hit and get to the books. And when you got the skills, then build. And that's it. Build yourself a community under the system of white supremacy, if you label it that, and stop crying and just get to it. Pit Boss ain't crying about this shit. I'm just doing what it gotta do. Black Ink ain't crying about this shit. He just doing what it got to do. As you start to improve and your shit start to look right, white folks gonna come holler because everybody likes successful people. And that's just it. They don't give a shit what your name could be. Farrakhan, they gonna come get with you as soon as you look like you got some shit going on. And then publicly they gonna say whatever. But behind closed doors, they doing business with you because everybody want to be along with successful people. But when we have a whole entire group of black people who have been bastardized in their education, and they don't know what they want to do and what they're supposed to be doing because they don't understand their own history in America, because you got a conscious group of YouTube channels fighting against the Bible. Every goddamn show is, the Bible ain't real. Jesus ain't real. Who give a shit? Is the information real? Can you buy the truth and sell it not? Then gain wisdom, knowledge, and understanding? Does the book got to be real for that to be real? Are you going to implement knowledge, or are you going to sit there crying about history, what you can't prove and what you can't prove? What you can prove is that currently you're losing. So I drop a motto. It's called the model citizen. The Asians in America do it well. Take note, they copied it from you. China also learned it from you. When Booker T was unleashing these class of black people from Tuskegee College, God damn it, China couldn't do it. They didn't have a million millionaires in 1900, but they got it today. And if you go find out what kind of education that they got, they call it capitalism. And if you operate in capitalism, you got the STEM program in full effect. I turn it over to Black Ink because Pit Boss will go all day with this shit. They hate the fact that I could do it off the dome.
Well, I'm glad you brought up George Washington Carver, because he came up with over 300 different uses for the peanut alone. He came up with over 1,000 different uses for the soybean, just in the field of textiles and manufacturing. The soy plant is not meant to be eaten. They use that stuff to make parts for cars. See, what people don't get about cats like Booker T and George Washington Carver is that a lot of very intelligent, wealthy, aristocratic, multimillionaire white folks called industrialists would do business with them. And I guess that upsets a lot of black people, but those white people weren't stupid, and they're still benefiting from those discoveries of George Washington Carver to this day in the field of agriculture, in terms of soil turning. It's called rotating your crops out.
Hey, real quick, Black Ink, because I need you to bust somebody's head who ain't never in his life been to China. All he ever done was get on Google and think he knows something about China. I got a dude I've been debating in the conscious community. He go by Nyame Ubuntu, and he's a socialist, scientific Bible hater with a little baby YouTube channel, and he falling for the CNN Fox network narrative. Could you explain to this brother Inyame, you play close attention because we done already showed the videos, the brother that's on this mic, that been to China doing business. Can you explain to him what you witnessed as a firsthand account and what China really is outside of the CNN and Fox News network narrative?
Yeah.
As far as capitalism or socialism, he says China is a socialist country.
Hold on, let me plug my phone in so it doesn't die out. Hold on, be strong.
Hold on. So Inyame, I want you to go back and look at Black Ink in China, while he showed you that the biggest producers of every goddamn thing you go into Walmart and buy say made in China. And you want to sit here and act like China is on some socialist shit. You just looking at the surface of things. You don't really understand how this shit works. They one of the biggest capitalist countries in the goddamn world. Capitalism at its finest. You think that the government own all them institutions? Hold on, man. Hit them with the hard shit.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 3-point plan, 3-point vision for you. Number one, China is considered one of the last of the most ancient societies still existing today because they stick to them old ass ways from thousands of years ago that they started with, being walled in. Number two, it was taken over by Confucianism after the dynasty formed one kingdom. Number three, communism came and smacked the shit out of them.
Can you fix your mic a little bit?
I'm sorry. Is this better?
Yes, sir.
Communism came in the 40s and smacked the shit out of them under Mao Zedong with a heavy hand. And that shit still stands to this day in terms of the government of 1 billion people. Communism. Get out of line in their country and start protesting and acting a fool and shit. Just Google Tiananmen Square 1989. It'll tell the whole story of how they deal with dissidents or people who protest. We don't have to take it back too far. 1989, 30 years ago. All right. With that being said, as the background, they have a million millionaires over there because they welcome big business. So the cronies of the communists are the unregulated capitalists that'll sell every country some bullshit product for the low. Pennies on the dollar because they get it from slave labor under the communist rule. But they're the ultra capitalists. So they have to them, those millionaires are their middle class, and that's it. Those millionaires who are related to the people in the government of communism and filling their pockets with capitalist dollars is even a smaller group. And then you got 1.3 billion other people living off $2 to $10 a day. And that's the best way I can say it because I've been there and seen it and experienced it firsthand.
Right. So now, can we, as capitalists, go to China and set up a business?
No, not as Americans, but they'll charge you a heavy tax like they do General Motors to let you sell their products over there. But the benefit is a company like General Motors sells more cars in China than in America. Times 10.
Times 10.
So that's capitalism at its finest. But trust and believe they're throwing a heavy tariff on any goods coming into their country because they produce damn near everything and sell it to the rest of the world.
Now, in your aspect of socialism in Yemen,
it is not socialism at all in any sense of the word. None whatsoever.
Right. So now, do they believe in God over there?
No.
What system are they following in spiritual, as you know, as far as spirituality?
The majority are Confucianism, which is not a religion. It's more like Tai Chi.
Can you please fix that mic?
I'm sorry. better. Hello?
Can you say that again? Yeah, we can hear you now. Can you say that again?
They don't really have a religion. They don't want to allow religion to tell the truth. They deal with Confucianism, that ancient Tai Chi type stuff.
By majority, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. Now, if they do have a religion, it's Buddhism, and they have the type of Buddhism where they bow all the way down and put their head on the ground and hold an incense stick in front of them to these statues that are made of plate gold, but they're giant statues. That would be the only religion they got besides Confucianism as a way of life. Under communism. I don't know where the fuck these people think socialism comes in China, but it doesn't at all.
Right. Now, as far as their citizens that come here to America, are they able to return back and forth? Or are they like, or have they escaped to China as some sort of, you know, they out here running from China?
Great question, bro. Great fucking question. Everybody that leaves there to come here or go to Europe to get a higher education is doing it based on STEM. Like, for example, the family that brought me there is a family of architects. They did all the great architecture here for the biggest companies, and then one of the family members was like, fuck it, I could get more money going over to China doing bigger shit that they would never allow me to do over here. And so he went and moved over there. So now they got a mansion in LA and a high-rise condo type of situation in China. When I went there, mother told me, she's like, you know, we could retire here on a tenth of what it would cost and live like kings based off of our Social Security. They're like, if you don't believe me, see Bank of America is right there on the corner.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do, Black Ink. So for the 100th time, another one of these conscious community, comedic, scientific, Bible hating ass, fake R&B don't understand shit they talking about. Been through 1,000 times fighting with these people. Number one, he running some sort of air conditioning company out of Texas somewhere. I'm gonna let him come on this. I'm gonna let him come on the channel. I'm gonna let him go ahead and drop for the 10th goddamn time or 20th goddamn time his anti-Bible rhetoric while he run over to the Amin-Ra squad and they don't want you. Run over there to Sonetta and they don't want you. Run over there to all over these goddamn comedic channels and there ain't nobody listening to you. Why in the whole time you've been here, I still ain't seen shit come up out you. All I hear is your hatred for what the hell is going on over here.
Well,
but
before,
go ahead, brother. Hold on. Let me just finish
okay,
narrating him. I get a mic to you before I let him in.
Okay, good.
Because see, what they don't understand is I bring in preterism, G conscious followers from channel to goddamn channel. I only need to address you once. And then if your shit's better, you're going to apply that shit and I'm going to see it building. But I don't see it building. I see that shit crumbling from underneath you. While you cannot gravitate a momentum in this community, your shit is garbage. I ain't knocking your hustle. You gotta hustle your hustle, do what you do. But you just gonna come on here with the same shit and talk that same talk because all y'all want to do is debate some shit. You're not gonna show and improve. If you come on this motherfucker, you better have your camera open. I better be able to see you. You might as well point that motherfucker out the window and let me see what the fuck is going on around that bitch. Because I'm not here to debate you niggas no more. When I drop this website, nigga, it's 100 on the 85 going north, nigga. I'm out of here. I ain't got time to be playing with you broke ass Negroes no more. I came in just to introduce myself. So let me reintroduce myself. I'm Digital Pit Boss. This is the Booker T. Washington STEM program. If you come on here talking that scientific shit, I want you to give me the source of the goddamn information. Now here go the link. Now before I drop the link, go ahead, Black Ink, I said I'll let you get yours in before you jump
Yeah.
on.
Thank you. I'll be brief. Okay, to answer your question, simply put, the people that come here from China and get a higher education are always welcome to go back and help them develop the nation. They're welcome there, and they're welcome with their capitalist expertise. You see what I'm saying? To fall right in under the connected people, those millionaires, a lot of them are from here. Okay, number two, just on a humorous tip, but seriously, when I went there the first time in 2003, they were dealing with what's called SARS. You remember the SARS epidemic where people was wearing those masks,
Right.
face masks? Okay. The reason that they had SARS, and this is what the people that took me there told me, it started from dirty air conditioners that had been up there for years. Like all the places have air conditioners because it gets real humid, but they never clean the motherfuckers. So when it gets raining and muggy and the rain washes through there, it drips down, and then it has what's called airborne spores. And that's how the SARS started, from dirty air conditioners. So on that note, I'm going to mute the mic. You can entertain this brother. I have really nothing to say to him because I don't know what he's talking about when he says socialism is in China. It doesn't exist there at all.
Yeah, well, you know, he gonna come show us his passport when he you know, went to China and came up with this data. You know, somebody who owned the line and then been there ain't enough for him. He's still Googling shit, trying to figure it out. So, you know, you might be able to answer. The brother is halfway polite when he's on a anti-Bible network, but you know, when he come on my shit, somehow that God thing just messes with his pineal gland.
Well, as long as we can be civilized and have a discussion, I'm cool with it.
So when he come on my shit, hold on, God thing just messes with his pineal gland.
Well, as long as we
I'm not
can
here.
be
Hold on.
civilized and have a discussion, I'm cool with it. So when he come on my shit,
Hold on, God thing just messes with his pineal gland.
Well, as long as we can.
Let me mute you real quick. Value. Let me, as soon as you get you got to go to your video and turn that. Now we're gonna give them the mic. You know, when they come on my channel, I'm gonna give them the mic. I ain't gonna interrupt you. I ain't gonna cut you off. I really ain't here to bash you. I want you to get your perspective off. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. I just talk a lot of shit. I ain't really tripping though. So this is Inyame. Go ahead, brother. The mic is yours.
Yeah. Peace, everybody. I just want to say, Mao Zedong was a scientific socialist. That's the first stage of communism. China never reached communism. Communism is a stateless society where the workers owns the means of production. So China never made it to communism. That's the rules and principles of communism. So it is a socialist nation that they say they're on the road to communism. That's how socialism, scientific socialism, works. The working party takes control of the means of production.
So have you been over there to see this?
No, I've never been over there.
Well, the brother on the line has been there, and he showed us all kinds of videos. At the
top. But I mean, you can go there, but that doesn't mean you have studied the principles of scientific socialism and communism.
Well, I'm gonna, you know, Black Ink, you could respond to a little bit of what he's saying.
Greetings, brother. How you doing, man?
Good.
Peace. And bless. Look, I actually did field research over there. I went over there with people who were born there, left there, came here, were very successful, and then went back there to retire. Okay? And according to what they told me, and according to what they showed me, that on the road to communism, I'll give you that. But they're closer to it probably than any other country on the planet. And I'm saying this because I saw it in action. And the majority of those 1.3 billion people live off of between $2 and $10 a day. And it is what it is. The people at the top of the party are the ones, like you said, the working, whatever, that communist party that they call themselves. runs the country. But the people under them, those millionaires that are connected to them, are the new middle class. And more often than not, they were educated outside of China, in the West, and then back to China to do their best.
How do you develop a millionaire middle class in Yami under the socialist paradigm?
They get educated in the STEM program.
Socialism doesn't say
No. I was going that for Inyame Black Ink.
Oh, okay.
you can be wealthy and be a socialist. Socialism just means the working class controls the means of production and not private corporations. So if we start a company, that company will be run by the working class. We wouldn't allow multi-billionaire corporations to come in to take control of our means of production. We control it ourselves. So the state is the central part of the means of productions in China. Communism is when the working class has so much power. Let's say those 100 millionaires become 1 million millionaires. You no longer need a central state. The economy and the people will take care of the country itself. The enterprise is about the people and not the government. But what happens is, like any other corruption, when people get too powerful, absolute power corrupts absolutely, and that's central to every system. But a socialist system is the working class rises up and fights against the imperialists or the courtocracy, and then the working class becomes the rulers or controllers of the means of production.
Okay,
That's the system of socialism.
So do you disagree with?
And the STEM is very important.
Do you disagree with Marcus Garvey's nationalist perspective?
No, I believe that we should be nationalists, but to me, Marcus Garvey approach is what failed the most. That Starline was a complete disaster.
Do you know that he was infiltrated by an agent and they sold him a disaster?
Yeah, but if you're running a business correctly, you don't create a disaster where you have ships that don't even sail and have investments. I'm sorry, I hope you don't hear the kids in the background, but there's a lot of kids that are playing. But
we ain't worried about that.
Okay, if I start an investment company and I take the people's money and I invest it into ships that can't sail, that never produce nothing, I'm held responsible for it. Not if I was infiltrated or not. I should have did due diligence.
You saying it was a disaster because the FBI purposely destroyed what you was building? That you call that Marcus Garvey's fault?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, so he should have been able to outthink J. Edgar Hoover.
Yes. There's no excuse. We're gonna have the same problem now. If we can't outthink the CIA, the FBI, General Motors, we can forget it, because that.
But don't you realize that never in the history of America that an FBI agency formulated to destroy a black organization prior to Garvey? It's like he got hit with something that was never invented, never known. He had no idea that they were planning like that. Like now we could understand that because we know that, the FBI could be watching. But at that time, Garvey was the first case as far as black folks is concerned.
Yeah, but it's still no excuse.
It's still no excuse. So we'll just put it on Garvey that, the FBI created an organization to infiltrate and destroy his movement. Do you think that J. Edgar Hoover thought his movement was successful.
Yeah, his movement was successful up until those business deals he was doing.
No, I mean, it was J. Edgar Hoover who sent in the faulty people to come and sell them the faulty ships. What I'm saying is, do you think that J. Edgar Hoover would need to infiltrate it if he felt it wasn't successful?
He was successful. Yes, he was.
Okay,
for those 10 years, yes.
Okay, so being that it was successful, then J. Edgar Hoover felt the need to destroy it.
But every organization we create is going to go through that same process.
The NAACP hasn't. They've been here over 100 years.
You don't think the NAACP has been infiltrated?
I said they've never been attacked by the FBI.
I would disagree with that.
Can you give us the history of where you disagree? Can you give me the decade where they did it?
I would say the 1960s with Martin Luther King.
With Martin Luther King?
Yes.
He was a part of the NAACP?
Yes.
Oh, wait, okay, I didn't know that. I thought he was the ACLC.
Yeah, he was with them too.
Oh, okay. So now you're claiming that so you're saying that Martin Luther King was part of the NAACP, and that so what was it that they was trying to destroy when they attacked Martin Luther King?
They wasn't trying to destroy, they was trying to control the movement. They couldn't stop the movement, so they had to control it. Okay. And it controlled the direction that it was going in.
Okay, so are you an advocate? Are you an advocate for integration?
No, I'm a Pan-Africanist, but I do understand why they chose integration. And it wasn't Dr. King that chose integration; it was Black people that chose integration.
So when you say you're a Pan-Africanist, what do you mean by that?
A Pan-Africanist believes in the sovereignty of African people on every continent and the sovereignty of African countries to govern themselves without the influence of any foreign power.
So your aim would be, as a Pan-Africanist, to create a nation and set it up as a socialist government?
Yes, socialist, but something that's higher than what we've seen.
Okay, so not a capitalist nation.
No.
You want a nation under a some higher level socialism,
right?
Scientific.
It must be scientific.
Okay, so so now how will we deal with religion under this scientific socialism in that type of nation? What will be the standard for that?
Religion shouldn't even be an issue because it is going to deal strictly with science. How do we solve our issues scientifically, not through religion?
Can we use any of these methods today for the problems that we have currently? Some of these scientific methods to deal with the oppression that we're facing currently?
Yes. Name an issue, and I'll tell you how we can solve it scientifically.
Okay, so we have Black people in the conscious community who don't follow a biblical code and have no value for those who do. How do we solve that problem?
I don't understand it. How do we solve a problem of people that don't follow the Bible?
No, the conscious community is largely based in what we call like Kemetic RBG, or Black Power, and exclusion of biblical literature. They say that's not necessary, somewhat like yourself. So now there is a fight between the two parallels in the Black community as a nation, because currently it is the biblical narrative that leads the way. And now we have another group who is non-biblical and there is a issue at building between the two ideas. So how do we use your scientific method to improve that situation?
I don't think that situation will ever improve.
Okay, so now we don't have an economic stronghold in the community. So now how do we use your scientific method to solve that problem?
Well, that's what scientific socialism speaks to. It's a method or revolutionary strategy where the working class take control of the means of production. And the means of production is basically what produces your food, what builds your houses, the main industry of the time that you're living. So right now, automation and computerization is the biggest industry right now. So as African people, we have to make sure we have the skill set to take control of computerization and automation, whatever it takes. So
okay, so can you give us an example of this idea being implemented somewhere in the, the past, where your exact idea was executed by some group, where we wherever you want, like just wherever you see, you have to have some source. You have some source that they use. So now you're saying that they use the scientific method that you call in scientific method. When they learned it, is that how it was introduced to them? And where did they learn
socialism? Absolutely, yes. Absolutely.
Where did they learn it? Where did China learn scientific socialism from?
Under Russia.
Under Russia?
Yes.
That's how they built their first scientific socialism college? What decade?
This was probably the late maybe 1920, 1910, maybe around there.
I got to get in here.
Jump
I got to. I can't allow this to go on anymore, man. All right, brothers. I just want you to tell me one model nation today based on scientific socialism that's working.
China and Russia.
Okay. Now, would you agree or disagree that W.E.B. Du Bois, Kwame Nkrumah, and Sekou Touré of Guinea, along with Stokely Carmichael, promoted scientific socialism? For example, like the AAPRP, African People Revolutionary Party. You familiar with that?
Yes, the organization I'm in is a splinter group from that. Yes.
Okay, cool. So, how did scientific socialism work for Ghana and Guinea?
Well, it didn't. Nkrumah was ran out by the Ashanti people who sided with the British and took over the country. But it was Nkrumah who told the African people that they must get rid of the colonialists. Everybody else was trying to be friends with them. What you're confusing is what is economically the best for people, or what struggles or revolutionary moves that a people must make to get an oppressor off of their back.
Okay.
To take over
brother,
of their own.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you did answer my question in the affirmative.
Yes.
All right. I just have one more statement to make, and then you can have the floor. Back to China and communism. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Communist Party took control under Mao, not the Scientific Socialism Party.
Yes, it's called the Communist Party, but the method he used is scientific socialism.
So what is the method they're using today?
It's the same principles, except now the state has complete control. But Here's the method of scientific socialism.
Hold on,
That you
brother.
co-
Hold on, brother. Hold on now. Just tell me, when did they change the name of the party from communist to scientific socialist party? Let me know
They,
when that happens, and I'll believe what you're saying.
they never changed the name, but I can get you documents of where Mao was teaching scientific socialism.
All right. So here's what I'm telling you from what I know, based off experience in real life. The way the story was told to me in the 20s, in the roaring 20s before the Depression, all European nations were there in Hong Kong and Shanghai, especially Shanghai. There are different sections of the best part of the city, and they built their own Wall Street there, and it's still there today. All right. Once they kicked the Europeans out during the Depression and the nationalists took over, it was a battle between the communists and the nationalists. The communists finally took over in the late 40s until this day. Now, I appreciate that you have the textbook knowledge and you've done your homework, but I've actually been there, seen it, and done that. And to this day, they have not changed it from communist anything to socialist. You know, Russia, before it was Russia, was called the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. And yes, China did learn from Russia, but they took a harder line approach towards being the real communists versus them socialists next door. And I'm just laying the game flat. It was Richard Nixon that brought them back in to the fold of the Western society when he said, hey, we don't give a fuck if you're communists. We could do business. And if the state wants to get a cut before the people get a cut, fuck it, let General Motors in, let Pepsi in. And so it began. And now they're running capitalism through the Communist Party. As long as the party gets their cut first, they'll develop a million millionaires. But when you got 1.3 billion people in that small area of space, you got to get out and colonialize. Hence what they're doing in Africa today. Is that scientific socialism, what China is doing in Africa today?
Yes, that's still scientific socialism, because you still have the same economic system where you have capital and you have profits. The difference is it's supposed to be controlled by the people, and the state represents the people, not these multinational corporations that we see in capitalism.
So
But
when the Chinese go into Africa and build infrastructure and cities and highways and airports and military bases, they're exercising the expansion of scientific socialism. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, for the Chinese people. Yes, absolutely.
That sounds like neo-colonialism, bruh. Call it what it is.
Then if the African people are colonized by the Chinese, then it's the African people who must unite and be revolutionary in kicking them out. But like Mugabe is not under Chinese colonial power. Mugabe is utilizing Chinese technology and technological skill to help him build his country, which is smart. So if Mugabe watches them build railroads, build computerization and automation, he should build a school right next door to the Chinese company and reverse engineer everything they're doing.
Are you aware that Putin built over 3,000 churches in his country? The Russian Orthodox Church?
I don't see the relevancy of that.
Because your scientific Pan-Africanism is excluding religion, correct?
No, it has nothing to do with building or not building religion.
What I'm asking you
is
your method is not promoting religion in the aspect of building your scientific nation, religion is not a part
No,
of
it's not
promotion, correct?
No, it's not promoting religion at all.
Okay, so now here's the relevance. You said that Russia is a scientific nation. So now I'm instituting to you, no, scientific socialism. So now I'm trying to understand, why did Putin build 3,000 cathedrals all over the country? And what is the purpose of that if he's scientific socialism?
Maybe that's what the people want.
You don't have an answer to why religion is a necessary fabric of any nation? Was there ever a nation among Black people that did not founded upon religion?
I don't see religion as a necessary foundation for a nation.
No. I'm asking you for historical information. Do you have a nation that was not built on the foundation of a religion?
I think most nations are not built on the foundation of religion.
Can you name one?
Of nation building is your food, your clothing, your shelter.
You're avoiding the question. I'm asking for a name, since you have most, you said most nations, so that's damn near all of them. So I'm looking for a name so I can get to that country, because I'm pretty familiar with the last 2,000 years of history in any century, and I would know. So I'm just trying to get a name of a nation that was Black in Africa that was not built on the foundation of religion.
I would say all of them. All of them.
I'm asking you for a name.
Songhai.
Songhai was not built on a religious foundation?
No.
Okay. So now you want to go to Songhai real quick and get into Songhai, since you chose them? And
I know they're an Islamic nation, but Islam did not build Songhai.
What century are you saying they became Islam?
The nation, like Ghana.
Okay.
Ghana fell, and Songhai, well, not Songhai, the Saniki, Mali took over, and then Songhai took over Mali. Those was built either by military conquest, and then you have to be able to build your infrastructure, your agriculture, your trade routes. Once you build that foundation, then you can build religion on top of that. But you can't go in with religion first and build a nation. Your foundation has to be science and technology.
Okay, so what is the moral foundation of a group of people that, how does the scientific method set the standard for morality? Where is the information of morality within your scientific example?
It's called ethics. If I'm building a nation and I'm stealing from my neighbor, I'm killing my friends down the street, I'm sleeping with everybody's wives, I'm going to destroy the trust factor within a nation. So I have to build on the ethics. And that's why religion is different for every people around the world. And ethics is based upon their region.
Okay.
It doesn't.
Okay, let's try this a different way. Let's deal with America. Can you give me, anywhere from the top 5 Black, and I'm just saying Americans, but melanated people that came here to America to help us build what we have done here? Can you name the top within the top 5 who are the most effective with what they attempted to do in your eyes and understanding of American history, and as far as Black people are concerned?
The top 5, they had to be born here.
No, they could have just came over here, just as long as they did it here on the continent of America, North America.
My top 5 would be Hubert Harrison, Garvey, Malcolm X, I'm gonna put Nat Turner in there, and Harriet Tubman.
Okay, so now Nat Turner.
Wait, let me put in Nkrumah in there. I forgot, and Nkrumah was here too.
Yeah, he was.
So I'll take out Nat
school.
I'll put in Nkrumah.
He was just here to go to school. He was a preacher, right?
I don't know if he was a preacher. I think he went to.
He was a Christian, right?
Yeah.
So now, you say Nkrumah, Hubert Harris, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, and you threw Nat Turner in there, right?
Harriet Tubman.
I mean, I'm sorry, Harriet Tubman as well. Okay. So now, in the men that you picked, what did they establish for us? You know, you can just be general if you want. You don't have to go deep. Just, you know, I'm just trying to get an understanding so I can see how your perspective, you know, is built with the men that you feel, you know, have done the most for us.
My perspective is they fought for Black people.
Okay.
They used whatever they had to do to make sure Black people not only survive, but develop themselves in such a way where one day Black people can control their own resources and control their own destiny. That's
So now why doesn't Booker T. Washington, whose legacy encompasses all 5 of those men by miles, you can combine them all together and they still haven't done it. Why he doesn't make your list?
yeah, he probably would be in my top 10, but not my top 5.
Yeah, I'm asking why he don't make it to your top 5.
Because he compromised too much with the European.
Where did he compromise at?
When he stood in front of the Europeans and said, look, we're not worried about politics. We just want to be able to build houses around you or help with your crops. To me, he compromised way too much by leaving politics out. Politics, economics, and socialization run congruent in nation building. You can't have one without the other.
Now, you studied Booker T and came up with this conclusion?
Yes.
You sure you studied him?
Not extensively, no.
Well, I'd like you to go back and study, because what you're saying is not his policy. And he knew everything about politics. And here's what he did. He said that you cannot go and do politics without first having control of your economics. Because if you walk in there with nothing but an education and no economic stronghold, you'll be non-effective. Today, we have more Black politicians in Washington than in the history of Blacks in America, and all of them put together don't own one institution. You know what lobbyists are, right?
Right. Yes.
Can you name the Black lobbyist in Washington, D.C.? Not, you know, the corporate lobbyist. Which Black corporation is based in D.C. and handing these white folks money to make sure Black folks get some shit?
Wait, what is your question?
Hey, hold on.
Hold on real quick, brother. I understand, but I was very quiet, brother. It take time to navigate through. I'm gonna give you the mic. Just be patient. We're gonna get to you. What I'm trying to get is, do you know of a Black lobbying group in Washington, D.C. currently that is funding politicians to make sure they vote for the interest of Black people?
No, not really.
Okay, so see, I'm gonna just help you out and tell you that there are none. So therefore, when you have people like Maxine Waters, various Black people that are up there, they have to appeal to lobbyists in order to get funded for some of the projects that they would like to do and go up and talk. And because they don't have a Black lobbying group who can hand you $50 million to go up there and, you know, say what you want to say, they have to appeal to those who help fund their campaigns. And since we don't have any Black lobbyist groups, then they're forced to appeal to the ones that are there. And then they're only going to fund the Black politicians who would fight for their interests. And thus, we get the bad end of the stick because you think that Booker T. Washington didn't want to do politics when he was considered the unofficial Black president and the most powerful Black man on the planet during his lifetime.
I agree. During the worst time for Black people during that period of time, as far as lynchings, beatings, deaths, hangings.
Brother, now is the worst time. You can add up all the hangings and all the goddamn beatings and more people shot on the street on some bullshit today than in the entire history of that era. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't that many hangings. It's just propagated as it was just gruesome hangings. The pictures are gruesome, but what happens today outnumbers the same way that there are more Black men locked up in the penitentiary than were actually in slavery. There's more slaves in the penitentiary than in slavery itself at any particular time. There are over 1 million people in the penitentiaries, maybe 2 million now. I haven't looked. But the thing is, what I'm saying to you is that Booker T. Washington, I can read you the quote if you need to hear it directly from him so that you can really understand that your perspective is lacking research. And so this is what Booker T has to say.
You gonna pick up the truck? Okay.
He says that leaders have devoted themselves to politics, little knowing.
I got to run. That was my wife, the balls.
Okay, I'm just gonna read you this quote, and you can go. It says that leaders have devoted themselves to politics, little knowing it seems that political independence disappears without economic independence. That economic independence is the foundation of political independence. We do not have the economic independence to be effective in politics. We don't have any economics to be up in here talking about laws for Black folks. So I think that your education on Booker T has pretty much, since I met you 2 years ago, that's about the extent of what you've been doing since then. Because when I met you, I can't say that during our debate you was highly educated about Booker T, or even when you went to debate Carl Albert, you didn't seem to have an in-depth knowledge of the information that I came out with. And I'm not knocking that you're not a researcher. I just think that your offense towards the Bible and towards African-American history is lacking in research. And if you just took a little more time, you might want to read The Builder of a Civilization by Emmett Scott. At least that one book, which narrates his life and what he built. It would rearrange your top 10 list. And you might have a better approach. And no Black country ever established any great nation that wasn't founded on religion. But I know you gotta go. So
yeah, let me run.
Yeah, I give you the flow the next time you come back. Well, there it is, folks. I'm gonna let Black Ink finish, come back in. But I just want to say, me and Naomi got a debate. It's called Understanding Pan-Africanism, Socialism, and Marxism on the Digital Pit Boss page. It's like 3 hours long. We did the debate on Carl Albert or Israel Doctrine show. I posted it on mine. If you really want to hear me and him go back and forth, at the time, we barely knew each other, and we kind of just came off the dome with what we know. So y'all can go back. It's a pretty interesting debate. A lot of people who are anti-Bible preferred Inyami's approach, and then those who understood where I was coming from understood my approach. Y'all can go check that video out, and it's pretty good. Go ahead, Black Ink.
Okay, that was a doozy, wasn't it?
This is what I've been going through, brother, over the last 3-4 years that I've been in the conscious community. And Nyame pretty much entered in a little after, and he got accepted into all of the different channels. You know what I mean? The Amin Ra Squad made him a regular. The Osiris, Team Osiris made him the goddamn what you call them dudes. I done forgot these niggas. I stopped thinking about these dudes. But all them dudes that was over there on the anti-Bible get down, to this same day, they all stuck in the same position. They just rocking a YouTube channel and ain't producing too much more different than what they was doing 2 years ago. That's just keeping it real, bro, because Pit Boss gonna make the cost way harder very shortly as we start unveiling what we talk about behind the scenes. Like, see, you came on and kind of threw the cat out the bag, and I know you had to go ahead and do it, which is cool to me. And you talked about your magazine, but when we actually dropped that website on them and they see we brought that chronic back and we got a brand new article from Snoop Doggy Dogg currently, or we go get Corrupt. I know Corrupt personally and the rest of his crew, and he lived with somebody from Pacoima. We gonna bring that moon rock out and see what it's doing. And
hold on. Wait a minute. Stop. Yo, can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you clear as a bell, clear as a William Bell.
Okay, so I want to just review the conversation that just took place. First of all, you gave him you didn't give him a short stack. You gave him like endless flapjack questions.
I was trying to get him somewhere, man, because I didn't want to do a debate attack. I just wanted to keep fishing it out because I already know his whole flow. It's just a matter of how can I ask him the right question and make him reveal that shit and get the root of it.
I was trying to reveal him with my first few statements, and he had nowhere to go. See, he was talking all that talk about China is a socialist state. That was his original claim. Mm-hmm. So I said, name one model nation today based on scientific socialism. I'm thinking he's going to name an African country. He said China. Well, now he's talking in circles. Okay, so then I said, well, are you familiar with W.B. Du Bois, Kwame Nkrumah, Sekou Touré, and Stokely Carmichael? I asked him that for a specific reason, because all those dudes pushed scientific socialism through the All African People Revolutionary Party. Used to call it AAPRP. They had study groups. I know, I used to go to them. Okay, they start you off with W.D. Du Bois. Then they slide you into Eric Williams. Capitalism and Slavery, right? The socialist president of Trinidad. Then they keep you going and going and going. But then they don't really want to fuck with the destruction of black civilization by Chancellor Williams, which shows you the result of the integrated socialist paradigm. Now, he said, yes, I know who all those people are. I was like, so what happened to Ghana? What happened to Guinea under Nkrumah, under Touré, these experiments of scientific socialism on the continent? He had to say they failed. So I moved on. I was like, okay, well, let's get back to China and communism. Correct me if I'm wrong. To this day, since they took over, the Communist Party took control of the government, not the Scientific Socialist Party. I'm like, tell me when they changed the name. Tell me when a diplomat on the world stage will say, this is not communism anymore. It's scientific socialism. Now, I wanted to come back with, if you would have let me get on, but I'll just share with the audience to support my suggested argument. Nobody is calling China socialist except scholars and analysts, people that read books but never been nowhere, to see for themselves, to go check it out and do some what's called field research. Find out from people who grew up there and their parents grew up there and so on. Okay, I'm gonna lay the game flat. China is a communist empire colonizing Africa. Now, I will agree to a degree that these African nations are in fact familiar with socialism, or they're just real thirsty for resources and development. However, if me personally, as a businessman, if I build anything anywhere, whether it's a highway, a railroad, a city, an airport, a factory, if I build that type of infrastructure, it's gonna be my shit. Up to and including, especially if I put a goddamn military base anywhere in the world, that's one of my colonies. So, with that being said, pushing communist colonialism on the continent of Africa is called scientific yellowface. And that's all I got to say.
Now, see, the brother said that all the African nations, you know, he can't rumble with me if we was to get into that Mali or Songhai. He don't want me to get into Malik. He don't want me to get into the Malik, the kings that came there early on through the salt wars of Africa and get into very earliest stages of the Songhai Empire and the Mali Empire. And then he wants to claim, he wants to do everything as he looks through his lens of history. He wants to exclude the factor of religion involved. He cannot see that Ethiopia was not invaded because they were a Christian nation, not because they were a socialist scientific nation. He cannot see that the African Americans built this country from a Christian perspective of their moral and character. One of the first things Booker T says that he had to institute was character. He has an entire book based on character. The principles of the character would be the values of the Bible. Once he got you to agree that the values of the Bible build your moral character, he can now teach you STEM. But if you got a bunch of scientific nutballs in the room trying to learn the STEM and have no respect for person, somebody's going to control everybody and have no moral compass. He wants to build a black nation with no moral compass. He said based on ethics. What ethics? This is the problem with the conscious community. This is why they accepted him after our debate 2 years ago. Man, let me go find this shit and play some of this audio. God damn it, though.
Yo.
This shit went so hard hitting. Y'all missed it. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, now I was being very cordial and polite. I was showing a lot of etiquette to the brother by asking him to just name one scientific socialist nation as a model today that he could point to. I expected him to say something on the continent of Africa. He said China. He already backed himself into a corner that he couldn't come out of at that point. Now, I wanted to say name 5 model nations, and it doesn't have to be today. Since the colonialism era and the independence era came in since the 60s, just name 5 nations for me that are scientific socialists. Now, he could have easily said Ghana and Guinea in West Africa, right, under Kwame Nkrumah and under Sekou Touré, but he would have had to concede that those experiments failed. And he said one side with the British and the other one, they kicked Nkrumah out. Well, why? What was wrong with the program? It's scientific now. The risk should have been calculated before you rolled the dice. But he didn't go there. He said China. Now, I can name you 4 countries right now today that we would say are scientific socialism / communism. And they are North Korea, Vietnam. Let me give you another one. Cuba. All right. They want a 4th one, right? Hardcore. We'll say Russia.
Right.
Okay.
Let me try this.
How's that shit working for them countries right now?
Let me do this. I'm gonna mute
Go
you.
ahead.
I'm gonna give about 5 or 6 minutes of this debate that we had. You listen to. I'm gonna let a little bit of what he said play, a little bit of what I said play, and then we're gonna come back on, and then you finish this discussion or add to what you heard in our.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna drop out. I'm gonna drop out the call and come back in a few minutes.
Okay.
But I'm gonna listen.
All right. I see Q Butter is. I'm gonna let him speak before I do it. Oh, he dropped out. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play a few minutes of this audio of our debate, and then we're gonna come right back.
We went through enough problems. We need to solve our problems scientifically as one large people. And I mean, we can do that. And it takes an educated population. It takes an educated people to do that. If we don't choose that route, then we might as well stay in the system that we have. That you go out and you make a profit, and if people suffer, oh well, at least I made my money. You know, if the people suffer, that's their problem because they wasn't smart enough to make money like I did. So, I mean, there's a plethora of ideas out there, but which ideas actually build nation states? I'm not talking about building an organization. Which ideologies actually built nations that was able to stand up against huge colonial imperial powers? And how did they do it? How did they manage it? You know, those nations might not look like America, but they definitely had a system that was able to resist. So I'm saying that they need to be looked at.
All right, I'm gonna take a moment and break that since we got Q Butter and hit the link. Q Butter, you can unmute your mic, bro. You can get the mic.
Yo, what up, y'all?
What's up, yo?
Yo, family, so what's good, man? Why you gotta make a video about me? I don't know nothing about you talking about family straight like that, man. That's crazy. And I respect what you trying to promote, but I don't know why you got my name in your mouth. I don't know you from a hole in the wall.
Yeah, I don't know you either, but
I make a video about me. Like, how we gonna move the community forward if you're making videos about people you do not know?
Okay, first of all, I made a video about the black. What was the name of the event? The black
event. You could. I don't know nobody in Atlanta. You could have just sent me an email and I would have gladly met with you. Like, well, I don't know why you make a video saying that I didn't want to reach. I don't know anybody out there. I just said I'm coming to Atlanta.
Okay, yeah, it wasn't. Okay, I wanna conversate with you, but I don't want to talk over you, so I'm gonna let you get you know.
Go ahead, beloved, my fault.
Okay, so one, you definitely reached out to Ankh, right? To Ahmed Rosquah. He was presenting at your event, right?
No, I didn't reach out to nobody in Atlanta.
Okay, so you came to
Sci-Fi linked me with everybody in Atlanta. On the feeds, I said, yo, anybody in Atlanta, I'm trying to come out there. I did 30 people's credit in Atlanta. That's the only reason I came to Atlanta.
Okay.
Well, the most people's credit I did for free, which you was on there saying I'm scamming people. And I'm like, okay, why would you say I'm scamming people? People in your chat right now, I did their credit for free.
Okay, so now, Sci-Fi put the event together, right?
We all put the event together. You could have just linked up and been with us to put the event together. It wasn't nothing special.
I'm trying to bring you in on something because you're new to the conscious community and you're unaware of what's going on within it. You just jumping and I'm trying to
that conscious community, like we're making it seem like it's something there. You're the conscious community. Everybody's the conscious. As long as you're awake.
No, that's not brother. You just showed up. That's not the conscious community.
No, because you haven't seen it on YouTube. Because you haven't seen it on YouTube. But I've been doing free events, home
brother.
events.
You can't talk over each other, brother.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is incorrect. This brother that just walked in, none of y'all know him. I can bring up a bunch of people that nobody knows on YouTube that's not in the conscious community. So I can't let you say I'm entering.
I'm trying to tell you something that you wasn't here 4 months ago. What was going on when you was just observing it
on YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube. Right. That's what I'm talking about. So if you let me just get to the end of my sentence, I'll give you the mic. Right. So all I'm saying to you is what the conscious community is. When we say conscious community, we talking about a collective of YouTube channels that present conscious information. That's the conscious community. Now, what happens outside of the conscious community in just say in real life or off the internet, that's just the conscious community outside of, you know, what you would call the various systems that we have. 5%ers, Comedics, the Christians, the Muslims, all of that is consciousness out in the world. That's the black people of the world. But on the internet, there is a series of YouTube channels that present conscious information, and that is what we are talking about when we say the conscious community. We talking about those people. Now, the event you had consisted of those people. It didn't consist of people that don't present information on the YouTube channels that all interact with each other, right? So now you had Unc there, you had Sci-Fi Living was your main connect to put you with all the people. Assumingly you didn't deal with the Amin Ra Squad or Unc, Brother Unc like that, and a couple of the other presenters that you had there, right? So now the reason why they ain't gonna call me is because I done already verbally slapped the shit out of Sci-Fi Living for some bullshit she did 6-7 months ago before you pulled up.
But hold on, let me say that right there. Black man, you represent a school in DeKalb County on your site. So you're on the same site talking about slapping the verbally slap the shit out of a woman. Anyhow you contextualize the action of hitting a woman with any context of it, it sounds crazy. Well,
it doesn't.
Now I looked up, brother. You're right.
Listen,
let me just put the stuff.
Two different sides of the coast. We don't think alike on no decade. I look back. West Coast don't think like New York on no decade I ever grew up raised. And I'm 45. We ain't grow up in the same decade. So my mentality versus yours is different on that principle alone. I got a gang of New York homies. I don't think like none of them niggas.
But there is right there what you're saying, brother. If you're 45, you're 10 years older than me.
Right. We ain't even from the same decade.
You could have reached out to me and said, yo, brother.
I'm trying to explain to you how
but
I was talking about wasn't
talking about me.
What I'm trying to explain to you is what I was talking about wasn't Q Butter. What I was talking about is a collective, a conscious community, YouTube niggas that I done been on all these bitch ass niggas sites. Not you. I'm not talking about you. Me and you ain't never had no words. Motherfucking Unc, motherfucking Sci-Fi Living, rest of the old bitch ass niggas that I done been on their shit. These bitch ass niggas blocking pit balls from trying to come in the motherfucking game. And then the niggas show up to Atlanta where I've been out in this motherfucker 20 years, whatever. And
yo, you the only person I didn't block. You the only one I didn't block.
This is what I'm saying. It's not you, Q Butter. You don't know me to know why I would rip off at that.
In that experience, right. What you just said. I don't know you, and so I'm coming into it like you said on the internet. And what I'm seeing is that a bunch of people are taking their misplaced angers and misdirecting them at each other. When I came to Atlanta to do a free event, and we all came in and did a beautiful event for free. Now we're letting stuff that's on the internet overshadow the fact that we had over 60, 70 people there each day there to learn and share information with each other. That's what's important.
Exactly. That's what I thought the conscious community on YouTube was about. I thought when I showed up, 4 years ago with this motherfucking hard hitting shit I'm coming with, I thought a nigga would let me get that off on their platform. I thought
all you had to do is send me a yo, bro. You talking about
you? You showed up 3 months ago. You wasn't
even
at
the end of the day.
Have a YouTube channel. You didn't have a channel for me to get it.
Honestly, I had a YouTube account for years. I just didn't
use it. No, I'm
not
saying that you wasn't on YouTube. I'm saying a relevant name. See, when you came into the conscious,
but no, brother, hold on.
You cut me off.
You brought up in the Housewives of Consciousness.
Listen what I'm saying. When you showed up to the conscious community,
my name in no video.
You cut me off, brother. You keep worrying about that, and I'm trying to explain to you how you got involved in Pit Boss even mentioning it.
As soon as you said involved, I got a man, rest in peace, D-Rock, dead because he walked with my man, went loc on the wrong block. I don't play that put your name in my mouth shit. That's disrespect.
Hey, bro, listen.
I would never disrespect you like that.
Listen what I'm saying.
I don't care.
I got so many niggas. I got so many niggas. Hold on, bro. I don't want to mute you. I don't want to mute you. I got so many motherfuckers in California, nigga, that all I got to do is say Pacoima, and 1,000 motherfuckers don't like me. Just because I say some shit like that. I got a gang of motherfuckers that if I go to the motherfucking mall in a red LA hat, I can come out my motherfucker ready to shoot because a nigga mad because I'm repping this hat. And I tell them motherfuckers, fuck them. If you do what you do, be gangster with your shit. That's how we was raised on the West Coast. That's all I'm saying. I don't worry about what the nigga don't like about how I get down. I grew up where nigga, you just fight for your motherfucking life and fuck what a nigga talking about. Fuck what a nigga like. If he like it or don't like, you gotta unmute your mic. Your mic is muted, brother. I can't hear you. So please miss me with all that, because I don't come on this motherfucker making threats. I just express how I feel.
Let's clarify that. A threat and disrespect and lack of honorable movements is 3 different things. Is you as a leader should take it upon yourself to treat the other person you see doing moves with honor, and that brings in the respect. Okay. But because you're so plagued by the people you're seeing on the internet, you're mixing them up with people that's real life. I'm real life. I'm here busting ass. I was just with the kids. So there's no reason for you to be making videos about people you see that's real life.
This what I'm saying. I'm real life.
Better.
I'm real life.
And then
I'm assuming that I'm real life. I'm assuming that I live in real life. Huh?
And so I'm saying to you and your audience that sci-fi and you may be able to communicate. I'm telling you that Sonetta needs help with his platform. I'm telling you that this whole charade on the internet.
I tried to burn that motherfucker down. In December and November, I tried to burn that motherfucker down. That's what kind of help I tried to give a nigga.
Everybody online to know that none of this people you see online take serious. You want to take somebody serious? Take your kids serious. Take your kids' teachers serious. Take the people in your community who are out there busting their ass every day serious. All this extra stuff is corny. I got homeboys that's dead and in jail for internet shit in real life.
I got all of that, bro. I got all of that times motherfucking 10.
You can go type in Rod Diggs.
I wouldn't give a fuck. I don't even type none of them niggas. I got 1,000 homies in jail.
No, then
I got all kinds of
then understand what I'm saying. Understand what I'm saying.
That's just street shit. Hold up, brother. Hold up. Hold up. I'm gonna give you the mic. I don't like listen, brother. I do not want to sit here yelling over you. I want to give you an opportunity to say everything you got to say, because when I went on Sonetta's motherfucking channel, he wouldn't let me get none of my shit off. When I went to I'm in Raw Squad, them bitch ass niggas wouldn't let me get none of my shit off.
No,
quit motherfucking cutting off. I'm gonna give you the mic. I swear I'm gonna give you the mic. And you can say it however you want, brother. What I'm trying to explain to you is you just walked up into this shit a few months ago. Hold on, bud. Please, I don't want to eject your motherfucking ass. Please, I'm gonna give you the motherfucking mic. But I don't want to eject you. What, bro? I don't want to see shit. What? You trying to show me a school? What you trying to show me?
No, I'm showing you, brother, that you're the only person online that's promoting a STEM bus. I'm the only person promoting online that we got our own STEM school. It's retarded that we beef with each other. So there's no reason for me at 25 I would ever disrespect you. I would say, you know what? I don't care who he's around. That black man Pitt, and that's the only reason I didn't block you is because I said that black man Pitt. I don't care. Maybe he got me misconstrued, but he's the only person I've seen, whether in the black conscious community, whether in the street, that's with people that got a STEM bus. So I don't care about the reasons I have that I would feel like you violated me. I'd rather look past that and still reach out to you. That's why I came on your live feed. Because I see that you're doing real shit, but you're plagued by these internet people. And there's too many people that are. So if you're really real like you seem like you are, stop letting these internet people plague you.
Okay, so now I respect what you're doing, brother. Okay, the shit you got caught up in was not directed necessarily at Q Butter. I don't know you. You don't know me. We never had no beef. None of that.
Took me to make a video,
brother.
Me a shout out.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. I'm gonna give you the mic. You have, for some reason, when you're on side net of shit, you seem to let that nigga speak.
Cause nobody disrespect me on side net of shit.
I wouldn't give a fuck. You still let the nigga speak. I let a lot of niggas come on here and speak that disrespect me all the time. I let the nigga get his point off. That's all I'm saying. I let niggas get their point off, right? See, I can go back. Probably, I used to work at Marcus Garvey on Slauson and Crenshaw 20-something years ago. I've been doing this shit for so goddamn long. I don't even talk about this
shit.
Why
would you make a video about somebody you see doing the same work?
Because you happen to go link up with a bunch of motherfuckers that be playing games in this motherfucker.
That I didn't link up with you?
Nah, brother, it wasn't directed necessarily at you.
But do you understand how it looked? That's not how it
don't. Look, brother, all I listen to out of the Kemetic community is attacks on the motherfucking Bible, and I haven't never heard Q Butter say, look how bad that looks, Sonetta, what you doing? You keep attacking that Bible, Sonetta. You need to stop that shit for a nigga come lay your motherfucking dome out over that Bible. I don't hear niggas saying that. I hear niggas cheerleading him on. That's it. And you know you don't follow the Bible. So you operating a big ass Christian flag behind you, represented by a gang of Christians that brought that Pan-African to the flow. But I doubt you're gonna teach the Bible in that goddamn classroom.
Of course not.
And if that ain't teaching that, you ain't teaching no RBG. Because if you come over here to Pit Boss, I'm gonna give you this Booker T. Washington, Marcus, Martin Delaney, and the rest of them, and you cannot throw the Bible out and teach Pan-Africanism when in 1900 the whole goddamn room was full of Christians who put the Bible as the center of it. So you ain't teaching Pan-Africanism. You teaching some foreign shit, some integrated paganism shit.
You're drifting. Let's just keep it. If we have different,
this is the reason why who you rolling with.
Show me what you got, because this is what's in my space.
Yeah, okay. So how you gonna not teach the Bible when you got Booker T. Washington on the thing? Then you got hold up, back that shit up.
Different conversation. We can have this conversation. But the first conversation is about
that ain't even Pan-African on that wall. I just seen Frederick. He ain't no goddamn.
But that's a separate conversation. You know what somebody did when they didn't like the pictures on my wall? Let me show you what somebody progressive did. They came by and donated pictures. So if you want to help, you can just integration. I think they pictures on the wall. They gave you some integration. You should have you don't want to work, bro. You want to put out. You want to help with the GED in Georgia? What you talking about? I got 60 people in there now that I did their credit with for free. No scamming. Don't need their social. Don't need a copy of their credit report. So I don't know.
Bruh, I did real estate in this city. I did real estate in this city.
I do it now. I do it now.
Okay. You think I wasn't fixing niggas' credits and I'm doing real
I don't
estate?
know whose credit you fixed, but I know in your chat room.
You don't know much about me. I don't know. I did all of that, bro. You
Anybody in the
that
chat
ain't,
room,
look, I can pull up my motherfucking website right now and I got
I'm
fixed
not trying to measure this with you, bro.
Oh,
All
I'm saying, I'm not doing that. I'm trying to tell you though that everything you talking about, I've already done and doing.
That's cool.
I appreciate that you're expanding. I'm saying I appreciate that you're expanding it. I can appreciate what you're doing. I can even explain to you. I can even explain to you that what I did on that event wasn't directed at Q Butter. If you can accept that, we cool.
If the video didn't have my name in it, if the
that was
I don't know if you noticed, the event was put together.
That's after you commented on my look. You got that video after you commented. When I did the first video, your
all
name
I know is that you put up the Black Empowerment. I don't know if you saw that logo, but the logo on the flyer, that's my business.
Whatever, but all I know is your name.
No, not whatever. Why is it whatever? You have all these times I watched your video and you display yourself to be really respectful. That's my logo.
This is what I'm telling you.
No, hold on. The logo that's on the flyer at the top is my business logo.
That's what I'm telling you.
My business. How are you going to say that you're about Black empowerment, but you're defaming my business?
How are you going to be running around with a bunch of Black empowerment? How you gonna claim that they about Black empowerment when y'all niggas?
I'm talking about you.
Bible.
This is what the version is.
Fuck that.
You keep diverting to the left and to the right, but I'm talking about you. I can talk.
I'm not gonna sit here arguing over you, homie. I'm not gonna sit here arguing.
That's because you're not gonna clean yourself up. You just got checked, boy.
You ain't gonna
be in Atlanta next month.
I ain't getting checked, motherfucker.
Atlanta, homeboy.
Okay, what you wanna do?
I'm in DeKalb County looking for the STEM bus.
Okay, what? Make sure your words clear. Make sure your words clear.
That bus for the book. Don't put my name in the
you want? Well, bring it. Bring it.
I'm saying it's in front of my kids. In front of my kids.
What you want to do?
In your mouth.
What niggas? I put a video up in 5 motherfucking minutes and dare you to
somebody else.
And dare you to come motherfucking with it.
In front of
and dare you motherfucking come with it. I wouldn't give a fuck what you talking about. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. I don't give a fuck what you can put 100 there. I got about 3,000 niggas too.
You don't even work at the STEM bus. I spoke to the school. You don't even work with the STEM bus. You just showed up to take pictures.
Is that right?
You ain't got no website. You asking for donations.
Oh, okay.
I want everybody to see this donation.
Well, then you do what you gonna do.
Pitbull. I told him I'm gonna catch his bitch ass. And look, he's going around talking shit. He a bird, fronting like he with the STEM program. He don't even got a job for this nigga in the school. He a liar. He mad because nobody invited his bird ass to the Black Empowerment Conference. She made a video about me. He don't know in New York, you put niggas' names in a video, you can beat the shit out of. I'm not a gangster. I got nothing but gangsters around me all the time.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
I see who you got around me. You ain't got nobody around you.
Okay, you
So
better go. You better go watch. You go watch this. Look, let me give it to you. Let me put it like this for you. I'm gonna
be in Atlanta next month.
Okay.
I'm gonna be in Atlanta next month.
Let me know when you get here. I'm from Pacoima, California. Look it up.
California? Who you want? I'm good in California. I'm good in California.
All right. Look, I'm trying not to eject you so you can get your speak off. I'm trying not to eject you so you can get your speak off. Okay. So I'm gonna let you know who I am. But look, listen.
You an old ass man hiding behind a computer.
Okay. That's what it is. I will come outside for you. I promise you that.
You even got kids
outside for you. What?
You got a queen? You ain't even got no queen.
It's not even business.
You ain't got no website.
I got all of that.
So nothing. You ain't got no kids.
Listen what I'm telling you.
Word mad on the internet. And I got time to violate you. This whole time I've been doing this, I've been making money.
Okay, so listen what I'm telling you. Listen, but quit so I ain't got to eject you, man.
He don't work for the STEM bus. He don't work for the STEM bus.
I'm gonna give you an opportunity.
DeKalb County is a white school. You mean?
Okay. All right. So now,
fuck the Bible, fuck the white man's Bible, and I'm coming to a.
Okay, well, you come on with your bad motherfucking ass. So this is for you, motherfucking Q Butter. I'm from motherfucking Pacoima, California. Do what you want. We ready. I live in motherfucking Atlanta, Georgia, nigga. Been here 20 years. Know all type of motherfuckers up in this motherfucker. Bring your bitch ass on and you will see. And we can get it cracking however you want. I will come the fuck outside and meet your motherfucking ass wherever you want. Now I'm gonna tell you one more time. You got your ass caught up with a bunch of motherfuckers that be on that bullshit. Do what you want. Pit balls come out the motherfucking door ready. Don't give a fuck what you're talking about. Please believe it. I don't give a fuck. If you think you want it, nigga, then be the next nigga to join the motherfucking rest of the niggas. I don't give a fuck. See, this is how these Kemetic niggas do. They fronting the motherfucking Kemetic. But when you pull that motherfucking Bible out your motherfucking mix, you motherfuckers is nothing but some motherfucking devilish motherfuckers operating some bullshit, nigga, and you're false flagging. So I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. Please believe it. You better do your research, nigga, because when I get off this motherfucker right today, nigga, I'ma simply activate. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. This is what you got to go through dealing with these bitch ass niggas in this fake ass conscious community. And I've been smashing on these niggas for 3-4 years since I've been here. They say I'm the Christian bully. They mad. This nigga want to show me what the fuck he doing. I'm happy that you and your motherfucking community, nigga, trying to build it. But if you building your shit without the motherfucking Bible, nigga, you ain't building nothing, nigga. You building a false narrative. And that's about motherfucking it. So while I bang on this nigga, is 2-in-1 power rule, nigga. Pacoima, bitch. Fuck with it. You bitch ass niggas.